There's another window. Why does it do that? Fuck. Welcome, Saf.
Hello. What is this I'm seeing about like Bimbos and SissyHypno?
Today's content.
Oh,
Another gift from horror. This is actually something I have too much knowledge about, and ironically, the answer on why I do is Poe. So, once upon a time, you had a watch party for similar type content, but this had to do with the pink pill. Or, digital blackface. One of the people in that chat room gave all of us a giant mega folder of SissyHypno stories. Because, of course, it was the streams in which we were doing Black Future. Which in of itself, written by Whitney Ryan, is a SissyHypno or the Sissy Bimbofication story. And as I've learned doing research on this guy and this entire phenomena, there's apparently people who are addicted to SissyHypno stories.
I see.
Not just the men, but the women too.
But the women too. Oh no.
It feels like it is a bit overrepresented by men, but there's men and there's women.
Is there like a statistic kind of thing?
I think I have done some research into it, and I'm going to show everybody what I have found and has discovered, but it is by no means pretty. There are so many articles that have written about it. Oh, there's Reddits groups, there's link trees, there's videos from individuals about how to heal from it. There's no-fap form posts made by users, and the no-fap users get on top of them. We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Oh no.
Just settle in. Settle in. We will get there. Trust me, we will get there. Meanwhile, I need to go do something very quickly. So, hang out. Don't say any slurs.
No, I wouldn't say anything bad.
Boop. I'm serving dinner, whore. Well, I can't medicine that isn't here yet, so. I don't know if you just. If it shows up, I will get it. Boop, 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 boop. Who else is here? Nope, just you and me. Laura can't come in because she's at work. Let us begin. Alright. First off, we have to start up with the article. We need to sit and define the terms boys and girls. I can't. See, it's funny, but it's not funny. So I'm gonna try to be serious, but I'm not gonna hold back laughing in the situations where I gotta laugh. Okay.
Understandable.
Okay, so content creator in question that horror brought to me is this individual whose account name is SissyRecovery. He has a YouTube. He has a TikTok. We're gonna go through some of these videos, but more importantly is the idea of what the fuck SissyHypno porn is, and how this is supposedly extremely manipulative and very, very effective at converting men into wanting to get cupped by big black dongs. There's also subreddits, there's even podcasts, and of course, niche internet online groups. But let's start all the way back with SissyRecovery. SissyRecovery. Helping men with a sissy fetish who want to quit porn, regain their self-esteem, and live their best lives. Started in August 14th, 2022. So like I was saying, when you came in and I explained to you, my knowledge on SissyHypno porn begins with both myself and Poe and our two versions of dramatic readings of Whitney Ryan's Black Future Volume 1, which she never made a follow-up to. It's like it's like in the vein of the Quan Mills hood romance stories. So Quan Mills. So things like The Old Thought Next Door, This Hoe Got Roaches in Her Cribs, Pastors Eat Pussy with a PWUSSY 2, The Coldest Thug Ever, and Tax Season Thoughts, where all of his stories are about basically hood romance urban fiction, SissyHypno stories, and feminization stories from women like this are comparable to effectively close to porn, but not exactly porn. So I can't put this on screen when I search it because I'm not sure if it's going to be safe. But sissification.
So is it like smut, basically?
Somewhat. It's like the most written and sometimes very very blatantly satire written forms of porn possible, but explicitly written where either the main character or a character in the story is experiencing a form of NTR. If it's a man, it is usually a white male experiencing sissification where their love interest or a person that they're interested in is getting cucked by the third party male that then fucks them too and treats them like a woman. Thus the idea is as you read it, you read this smut porn of this guy who's like, I've never been with a man, and how they basically become the girl in the hentai that's like, I'm coming, I can't stop coming.
My hips are moving on their own. Ah.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Now, it's actually rare to ever see female-centric versions of this, because at that point, that's just normal NTR. But of course, it's always a specific bent on the fetish, and the bent on that fetish is black man dominating white male. So, give me 1 second, because some of these book covers are fucking salacious, so I have to be careful with what's on camera. Okay, so you've got some that are pretty straightforward, bone cut dry. It's a degen genre, it's gender bent adjacent, it's becoming a girlfriend as a fetish. Correct. By all means, Bloodier, please join into the VsChat so you can be inside the live card too. But most of examples of sissification you usually will see from secondhand sites such as Goodreads.com. You very rarely will find case examples of popular pieces of media being sold as anything other than fetish material from places like Amazon. Which, ironically, Amazon will sell things like Quan Mills, as it does the Zane smut books. It'll sell all of it, but you see a very specific focus on most of them being copied and covered on Goodreads.com. So, from these, you have examples like The Sensual Journey, which is basically the comprehensive guide to sissification, where you go from being a brunette-haired guy to just basically being AGP to being a perfect slut bimbo doll with fuck me pumps. Then you've got the Singles Man Guide to Sissification, How to Become a Sissy, from authors such as Heidi Kessler. Then Becoming My Neighbor Sissy, Put in Panties by the Woman Next Door, Book 1. Feminization, Sissification, Cross-Dressing, Girlsification, from authors like Luna Sage. And then, of course, Whitney fucking Ryan. Where Does One Begin? But of course you have other ones like Meat Mummy, His Mother-in-Law Steps Up His Sissy Training, Volume 3. But then you get the more popular ones. Whitney Ryan books. With these ones, this is where you get ones such as Pumped by the Bodybuilding Thugs, where this feels like the cover was auto-generated, as you can obviously tell.
Oh, okay.
Then, of course, obviously, Black Future. Then, Thugs Breed My Bratty Daughter. Sissified by Her Thug. What was the other one? Smothered. I'm trying to read the cover of this. These images are really small, because she has a history that whenever she gets covered with this, like when we were covering Black Future, she'll try to block the people who are covering it and just basically try to hide her books. Smothered by My BBW Sister's Cheeks. And then the ones that really kicked off people noticing her. Fertile Wives. Christina and Her Dream Thug, Book 1. So where the Black author Zane makes black erotica for women who are chaste, this is addiction to a point that it doesn't make sense how you get involved in this, because clearly you just put you accept that the book is obviously a joke and you put the porn book down. But no. There is science behind this. The controversial world of sissy recovery groups, convinced that SissyHypno porn has manipulated them into liking men, cross-dressing, and becoming trans, guys are turning the problematic feminization recovery industry for help. There is a series of videos on YouTube that depict a still image of a brown-haired woman in sunglasses against a black background. In clips, which range from 5 to 35 minutes, a pink and translucent spiral swirls slowly in front of the woman as her computerized voice narrates the viewer into a state of hypnosis, giving in more and more to drowsy blonde feelings, she says, as a metronome kicks in and a chorus of women moan faintly behind her, accepting every gentle suggestion with happy winters and sleepy giggles, becoming a perfect Barbie, just another bubble-headed poppin' blonde.
Hi, Carl.
Hello.
That's right, Bambi. Eyelids fluttering like a good bimbo Barbie. Sink into pink. Enveloped in dreams. Wrapping around and plunging down into a pastel-painted sleep. Tension dreaming. A soft
I'm
colors
surprised it
wash
has that many
everything away.
You be shocked.
That's a good girl. Feels so good to let go and relax. Nothing could be more pleasant. Nothing could be more peaceful. Slipping deeply and directly to sleep. Be a good girl and go to sleep. Bambi sleep. Everything fading. Feeling blissful. As a sleepy and receptive platinum blonde. Feminine, submissive, and completely relaxed. A happy, satiated blonde. Collapsed in slumber.
Awesome place. And then another one from this channel. Actually, this is the same one, which is Bambi Sleep. You're gonna find the one with SissyRecovery.
Hey, Carl.
Yes.
I want to make sure that I'm kind of keeping up with this just a little bit, right? Is this the bimbofication of women, or is it just both genders? Because
Both
I know
genders.
that this is
Both genders. But
okay.
usually,
So
you missed the preamble at the beginning. It usually tends to be more men, but there's also ones that have women that have gotten addicted to this.
yeah, I know about the men because they have a term for that. I think the guy who runs Kiwi Farms calls it womb envy.
I suppose, I guess.
They kind of kick over certain trigger points, kick them over the line. They're purveyors of this, but no. I'm gonna watch the presentation. This is getting interesting. I've seen this stuff before, unfortunately.
I've covered it a little bit, but I've never done a presentation.
Now, quick question: Does these usually have like Reddit accounts, like Reddit dedicated to these?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
There's like 20 different Reddits that are dedicated to this.
Okay.
I've looked into it and I've done some giggle streams talking about it, but I'm gonna see how Carl's angles on it. I would love to see this.
Yeah, because you have some that are requests to post, so you can only see what they posted. Some of them are years old. And then, of course, if you were to go to things like Egg IRL, you'll occasionally find posts where effectively the people who are in it saying that they have been cracked will have been cracked because they have been watching SissyHypno and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got videos like this, which are 2 steps removed from being fucking jack-off instructions. Goddess Tessa turns you into her sissy dress-up doll.
So, excited about tonight. Oh, you didn't get the Evite? Oh. Tonight, we're gonna have a girls' night in. Well, us, yeah. I know you're not really a girl, but you're so much of a little sissy that I thought you could join me. Don't you think it'll be fun? We can do our nails and do facials and do our hair and play with makeup. Totally just like a girls' fun night. Me and you. We can try on different outfits, different lingerie sets, watch some sappy movies. Total girls' sleepover. But you'll be sleeping out on the floor. You're not going to be allowed in here, of course. But I will let you play. We're going to do makeovers on each other. Doesn't that sound fun? I have you caged up in your little chastity cage. I thought that this was a great time for us to play.
Yeah.
There's an industry for this.
Oh yeah, I was gonna tell you. So there's whole OF accounts, and I think it's another place on the internet that houses things like this. They get monthly bank. I want you to look at the view count on this. Just look at that view count.
Mm-hmm. I've seen jack-off instructions for sissies. I've seen general jack-off instructions. I've seen domination jack-off instructions where the sissy's not allowed to nut until she reaches climax with the bull. I've seen the simulated sex accounts where it's about you watching her get off. Every single bit of it is an industry, and there are women making buku money off this. Buku money.
Carl,
I believe it.
you left one out. There are women who do role play where they are you turn into her.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like full on transformation fet. Like, oh no, I've become this giggling bimbo. Oh my god, no.
It's why
It's
for most of it, it would be written up for most people's basis as AGB.
yeah.
Can I?
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, my experience of seeing like SissyHypno or sissy related stuff is ironically on SL, but as far as I know, they just kind of keep it secluded on there, and they don't really have it cross over into real life.
Well, you see, as this playlist that I currently have here shows you, as there are some links that are unavailable because they've been hidden over time, this playlist is 204 videos with more than almost 200k over 500,000 views.
Yeah.
You've got
oh Jesus, Carl.
you've got Tessa turns you in to a bimbo. You've got ASMR lingerie store roleplay with measurements and sound effects. You've got cross-dressing makeover roleplay, sissy fitness trance, panty pervert induction hypnosis. All of these, of course, 18 plus. 18 plus, of course. Straight
So
up.
they're age restricted.
Well, I wouldn't say they're age restricted. It's like the very, very minimum that they'd have to do to keep themselves from getting stricken by showing that it's not intended for children.
Mm-hmm. That little
Okay.
that little 18 plus logo, it does a lot of heavy lifting like Atlas.
I see.
Silky red panties, hypnotic suggestion and obedience, bimbo slut training hypnosis, 18 plus, semen drinking hypnosis, 18 plus, cross-dressing dried for bathing suit and swimwear, how to tuck perfectly trans. What you see, this is where it starts getting tied in with the Blair White project. What I used to tucking in a bikini / try-on, feminization hypnosis, hypnotized to wear lipstick, high heels, and miniskirt, hypnosis ASMR. 10 tips for an amazing prostrate massage. Harman Electra Disc 1 Advanced Aerobic Striptease full movie. This is where it starts getting into fucking Elsagate levels of weird, because you're like, what does feminization and sissyism have to do with my 10-minute daily stretch for middle splits? But it's all subliminal.
Well, to spread the pussy wider, obviously.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
it's all subliminal shit where it's like, here you can learn how to tuck in. Here you can learn how to hit that arch. So that when Big Dick Daddy tells you to bend it over and bust it wide open, you know how to assume the position.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. It is all a process. This is like MLM level of like indoctrination. Like step 1, become the girlfriend. Step 2, believe yourself the girlfriend. Step 3, bust it open like the girlfriend. It's horrifying. Because I come from 4chan, where I saw a lot of the R9K boys following these kind of playlists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
completely fucking new to this shit. Granted, I have the thing that I described that was given by that one fucking guest, but of course I'm not fucking reading it. It would be something I'd use for torture porn. And I've only read like maybe one story or two, because when Jay wanted to look into the Quan Mills books, I couldn't be able to get a copy of them for free, because ironically there were none of them available for pull from PNG use or from PDF. So I offered to give her one of those to read, and like one of them would be like the equivalent of if Lance Riddick hadn't died and if he had dominated some fucking guy on vacation. Story involving some fucking guy named Sene and basically fucking ass raping this guy. These things are not subtle in how they go about their stories.
No, they have the impact of a whole sledgehammer.
Mm-hmm.
They are. I mean, really, to be honest with you, I didn't know how deep the well went on this until I actually was like, oh, let's do a stream on this. I will never do that again. That's why I'm like, Carl, you go on ahead, because this is a deep rabbit hole where they break you down subliminally to the point where, again, like I said, the womb envy thing, they're a crossover to that, where, you know, they already were a purveyor into this. Their wives end up getting pregnant, and then they end up just cracking.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I want the attention of a woman when she's pregnant.
No, it's
Yes,
not that they
actually.
want to get ran through, but for some,
Yes.
they care more about. For some of them, they care more about getting the attention sexually. For some of them, they are envious that she's being doted over because she is pregnant with another man's seed.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to layer the NTR, and then when you layer the NTR, you combine that with the cucking, and then it becomes the girlfriend. So that basically both of you are two little fucking whores getting busted open by Big Dick Matumbo.
I mean, I'm not, again, to be completely fair on this. This shit is like cornstarch. You just add it to everything, and it just makes it so much worse.
Mm-hmm. Back to the article. Right here. Yes.
I'm jealous. I'm going to be honest with you, Carl. I'm envious of you right now
Why?
because you can eat while watching this.
Well, I'm eating while watching this right now, but it's just basically soup.
As somebody who's done escort work for money, I have seen and experienced and done worse.
Respect.
This is light work.
Again, my only experience with this is SL, and I guess because there's disconnect there, I just kind of saw it as like a funny thing.
Well, it was a meme for a while. Like, it's been a meme for... It hit public consciousness, I'd say, about 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it became a meme like 5 years ago. Like, right around like the time... It got overridden by Findom.
Mm-hmm.
But they used to have the Bimbofication, like, I think you had it up, Carl, where she goes from, like, being, like, the normal girl, nerdy girl, to, like, full-on bimbo within, like, 5 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it was actually the meme was reversed. It was like a bimbo seeing a book, picking it up, and becoming a normal girl.
You'll see, it's both ways. The entire meme was supposed to be that women would go from being the nerdy shut-in to being the slut. This is metamorphosis. Then you have reverse metamorphosis, where they go from being a woman who either overly sexualizes herself and wants to not have to sexualize herself so much, or continues to sexualize herself in a way, but instead of being overperformative with what would be based on the male gaze, especially for the female stories, it's instead a woman who becomes a lesbian and is now capable of being a chapstick lesbian or a lipstick lesbian performatively for the more masculine lesbian in the relationship that has made her into being into women.
Yes, that's where the meme comes from, where it's like noodles are straight until they get wet. Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of news story, if it would be covered on mainstream television, it would be on a primetime episode of Special Victims Unit, and it would be a throwaway episode that is just as memeable as the Logan Paul episode.
Yep. Like, this is, again,
Go home, gamer girl.
This is so niche that the average person would look at this and go, "There's no way. There's no way."
I imagine the average person probably has seen this in some capacity. Like if they're looking at porn actively.
No, not if they're looking at the porn. They'd have to go looking for these things. If you were looking for jack-off instructions and you were not specifically looking at real women, the majority of these people are consuming the anime versions of them. So, like, if you have ever heard the meme sound of the preem high girl or in the background, you just randomly hear, plug, plug, plug. That is from versions that come directly from Pornhub of various female IRL women putting their vocals to a track and then filling it with meme sounds, where the idea is you're supposed to be listening to it and jorking it. And the idea is that itself became a meme that they started making fun of to the point it became a TikTok sound trend. Or the gay porn edits of the gay men having sex. Hey, yo, bro, you digging me, you digging in me, you digging in me, you digging in me. Bro, I'm new. I'm a lying piece of shit, daddy, say it. I'm a lying chicken piece of daddy, say it. Those clips are based off of either IRL shit or porn shit that these gooners that these gooners then take and turn into memes that then people regurgitate back, and they wonder where the fuck where it came from, and they find the original source being these ASMR videos that they found either on YouTube or on Pornhub, and then get re-uploaded to all the other platforms. Because something that has actually been funny watching is a whole bunch of sites basically lose access or cut off access to users because of their unwillingness to make identification means that are more convenient and more straightforward than demanding a government ID of your picture and a free account be made on the platform for you to look at free porn that is already hijacked from other resources. That most of these clips, if you don't find them on Pornhub, one of the few sites that have yet to do this on all of the states possible, but for some of them, ironically, like SpankBang, which have chosen to go the route of give us a picture of your government ID on a free account to look at these this porn, you could probably end up finding these clips faster if you looked through YouTube and TikTok than if you were to go to the actual porn sites where they belong.
Oh,
It's an underground industry, let's put it that way. Again, you had people like Nanners and some other people like way back in the day that used to do stuff like this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember that chapter because, again, I've been in. This is some 4chan old school shit. So this has been floating around for years.
Welcome, Aqua.
Hello.
Hi, Aqua. You're in hell. Welcome.
Oh, goody.
But yes, this has been floating around on the internet for almost, I'd say, closer to 10 years. But it picked up traction 8 years ago. It hit the meme market 5 years ago. And it got forgotten because, again, Findom was more funny when you see some man run to a door to hand a woman money and she slams it in his face. It's more hilarious.
Pay up, piggy.
But then again, like the other part as to why this died off as far as mainstream coverage is because of its relevance and connection to the trans community.
Like, if you were to get people to be interested in this, you would have to tie it into that Chechnya, China, British rapper that released the song Peggy. Findom took the lunch money of SissyRecovery because, ironically, this is where Digital Blackface, myself and Poe collectively together, alongside Olivia, Amy, and Baku, when we did our versions of this, where we had Yuffie and Dimitri Monroe reading main parts and inserts for other people through the various versions that we've done, because he's tried to do it twice, because he wanted to double dip to see if he could aggravate more people with it. It kind of fell off because the SissyRecovery itself being a fetish means that the authors that are writing it don't really want to deal with the blowback that would happen when they get covered by left-wing sources, because since they use so many fetishes, like black men dominating and colonizing the wombs of white women, or to just quote directly from the lore of Black Future, white women will become race traders in the race wars so that they can have the privilege and convenience of being birth factories, where their only job is inside of pleasure pits to be pleasured and to please, and thus breed with black men to create a military army workforce of soldiers. Not shitting you. I am not joking.
I know you're not.
Isn't that Black Future?
Yes, that's what I just said.
I remember hearing about this.
Like,
yes,
the amount of levels of inherent Queen of Spades fetish art that this amounts to means that if they were to actually deal with mainstream coverage of this and then be happy and proud about this work, like the author of 50 Shades of Grey, which I'm pretty sure is a heavyset woman.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
She's one of the attractive, likable ones. 1 second. I'm getting her name.
This is Stephanie Meyer.
I'd say she's an acquired taste.
It's Stephanie Meyer energy. I mean, when Stephanie Meyer did Twilight, it was just a tweener's version of like what 50 Shades of Grey was for like older women.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 50 Shades of Grey literally started as a rip-off fan fiction of Twilight, so it makes sense.
So, like, for women like E.L. James, they are exactly the type of person that you would imagine is both reading, consuming, and fucking flicking the bean to these stories. that doesn't mean that she is an unattractive woman that cannot stand up there and see her work at work, because obviously she took pictures with the fucking actors for her product, and she's not a bad looker, like, at all. This is some of y'all's moms.
I was gonna say, this looks like an alternate universe version of my fucking mom. I don't know how to feel about that.
So
I mean, again, Stephanie Meyer's the same way. She looks like the average
wine mom,
Midwestern mom. Yeah. Like,
and ironically, with
orange juice concentrate wine mom.
With my history of when I had way too much free time in my hands to be a president of a book club, first starting in high school and then moving through adult life in my local town, the amount of women that are consuming it and is equidistant from the amount of women that have leftist politics means that if they were to directly have to take credit for any of these works, like, yes, I'm Whitney Ryan, me, this woman. Let me see if I can find a picture of Whitney Ryan.
Whitney Ryan, wasn't that the same woman that harassed you and Poe over reading her books?
Yes!
Yeah.
I remember this.
So,
what a horrible woman.
Assuming that this is her and not somebody else, because there's many women named Whitney Ryan. Whitney Ryan being a white woman. Lily white woman like this, writing works like this, if this is the accurate one, it may not be, in which case I'm doing a very fucky very wucky. But the woman who is behind this handle for her work, assuming that it's not a pseudonym, this woman, if she were to take any of the shit for what she puts in the plots of her books, they will hang her as a racist.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
They will hang all of them as racists.
It's very border-esque to race play and all of that.
Rapist?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Basically, it's rape play in its most, I'd say, most carnal fashion.
Yeah.
Because you're talking, again, the problem is with SissyHypno and all this other shit, is it is just like a big wet splat that covers everything. It touches so many different fetishes that it drags people into the new. It drags people into the yeah, I wanted it to be visceral. It drags people into the nucleus of all of this, which is turning you the man or you the woman into something completely different.
Yeah. When I covered this before, because this is not a new thing, especially when you're covering Cleats of Spain content, since I no longer have access to my first account, then I can't be able to easily reference it by pulling it up historically. But when it comes to Queen of Spades shit, it's basically black and white women, usually white women, who have a fetish for being the pog girl that gets knocked up by the black man that specifically wants to breed black. There have been plenty of fucking content creators and plenty of online figures, or literally who is this woman putting this shit out on the internet who's happy about the fact that she's telling people that she's impregnated by a black man that she barely knows from this fucking gangbang that was designed specifically by her husband to see whether or not who would be the lucky guy that would impregnate his wife. Considering individuals like Christina Rebecca Rossi, the Snow Bunny, whose husband then crashed out live on fucking news in Lafayetteville about 3, 4, 5 years ago, where he had a standoff with police. Women like that go from being small little something or other Southern girls that you'd think would be going to Old Miss for their husband license, and instead become these body-built gym rats that then make fetish porn on the side, which she did with her husband, because she made the porn throughout her fucking pregnancy. She made the porn playing up that she'd be getting pregnant. She made the porn of her pregnant with his child through various forms of the trimester, continued making the fetish porn and designing her content to be specifically for the guys that wanted to see a small little lily white woman get dominated by a big hulking black male. Doing crossovers with other people specifically for that design. It's like if Paige Steele, who used to go by the name like Big Booty Butt 97, eventually made her own brand with her husband and their fucking work, where she's a pog white girl That's just showing like examples of me getting knocked up by the plumber, paying my bill another way, question mark, question mark. Rebecca Rossi and her husband went the other way, where they went down one line of like gonzo fake porn fetish, or more specifically for some people who probably would recognize it, Alex James's family therapy series featuring such actresses like Felicia Fox or Brianna Beach, the big BBW MILF that is almost always doing that work with him, and other women like Fifi Fox and whatnot. All of that work is explicitly on the level of must be fetish. So, the more that you dip your toe and the more you look into it, the more obvious it becomes that the people who are getting into it are doing it either for content reasons, at which point they just make the work and they have no part with the fetish shit, or they make it and they do so because they like it and they get off on it. So there is a woman by the name of Quinn. I forget what she calls herself on a lot of shit, but she's basically like the fucking Zoomer millennial groomer slash e-girl, whose entire content, alongside content creators like A Cup of Alex, these are also TikTok creators. See if I can find Quinn.
Young boys are turning conservative.
Quinfinite. This is one of her accounts. This girl, right here. Quinfinite69, and all these takes. Gooners like this will do, like, solo girl shit, and sometimes feature work with others, specifically because, haha, look, I'm a fail daughter. Don't you see it as really attractive, like me trying to be sexual in this way? Versus women
like that. Don't do that.
Versus women like A Cup of Alex. I can't remember if it's 2 X's. No, it's 2 X's. Then you've got women with Cup of Alex Official, where, yeah, most of their shit is meant to be sultry, but they're less fail daughter and more like, men are attracted to me, and I know why, and here's examples. And some of her skits.
For science. Huh. You sexy thing. You're causing a scene.
I can't even hear it.
Hold on.
You don't.
The audio's fucked sometimes. I have to,
Yeah,
I
it's
have to
TikTok.
jack it.
Okay. Okay.
This is 500%.
For science.
Okay, now I can hear it.
Huh. You silly sexy thing. You're causing a scene. You want the blah blah. You want weapons. This is my hammer. Only I can wield it. You want weapons, so I'm gonna give you weapons. Here are some weapons that I wish existed. The Razor Halo. It may look like an ordinary Peaky Blinders newsboy's cap, but in this case, you can throw it and it turns into a circular saw. The blades can also extend and create a shield. And if you throw it down brim first, the blades shoot out in a 10-foot radius, slicing everything in its course. Moth
like a
blade.
JoJo's
Do you remember
weapon.
that moth that Gandalf whispered to on that tower? Well, after you
So-
slice somebody.
We don't have to watch the rest of that. So,
No.
these are usually the women that will be, like, making it for joke content. I
this
cannot
particular-
show you the women that are doing it for real. But to give you another example of the shit that this woman tends to post and the debaucherous energy that it's supposed to be with.
Hola, ¿cómo se va?
Smallest amount they harvest. The rest will get processed in another room, but we'll get back to that. Another crew checks for any lingering dirty skin that might make the bulbs less valuable.
Stay golden, pony boy. Hola, ¿cómo
Like, I can't get any more explicitly descriptive of what the fuck you're gonna get into with things like this.
Yes.
Yeah, you have no idea.
So, continue with the article. The video is created by an erotic hypnosis site, Bambi Sleep, aimed to condition their mostly sit-heads male viewers into believing that they're sexy as bimbo girl, a process known as feminization or sissification. Most commonly known as SissyHypno, a genre of porn in which men typically dress in makeup and hyperfeminized outfits and are sexually submissive to any gender. Allegedly, this process can affect a person's subconscious, effeminizing them and turning them into a real-life sissy. It's a fun kink or way of exploring gender identity for most viewers, but for some, it's a self-destructive addiction that takes months or even years to recover from. Amongst the latter group is 30-year-old one Adrian, a pseudonym for Brew, who is a member of the subreddit TG and SissyRecovery, which happens to be one of the more public ones where you can actually be able to post things, where they actually post regularly. With 1,100 members, it consists mostly of cisgender straight guys who do their feminization porn to be an obsession and burden on their lives, as well as leading some to question their sexualities for the first time. Many say their hypno habit harms their relationship and mental health, and in some cases drains their bank account, as they spend an increasing amount of money on sissy clothes. This is the case for Adrian, who said that in the 9 months since he got into femme porn, he developed a depression, a weed addiction, and has almost broken up with his girlfriend. Adrian got into sissy porn and subsequently cross-dressing after joining a video chat website out of pure curiosity. When he did what everyone else was doing, pointing out the camera at their dick as they jerked themselves off, people kept ending their calls with him, but when he acted more feminine, then they stayed tuned. When I asked what this means, Adrian explains that when he started showing his ass, doing a sexy dance and talking dirty to him like he was a woman, I never received that kind of attention in my life from strangers. That's when I was hooked. From there, he started watching porn starring transgender women before quickly moving on into SissyHypno. Despite never having questioned his sexuality or gender identity before, with Adrian considering himself a cis heterosexual man, he says that after 2 weeks of watching femme porn, he fully believed that he was a trans woman and came out as such to his girlfriend. She immediately started crying. She thought our very loving relationship was over. However, after a lot of soul searching and research, Adrian realized that he wasn't trans, just addicted to sissy porn. Saying that he has a compulsive porn habit and sissy urges that are crippling, sometimes resulting in him taking a mental health day from work. All it takes is seeing a pretty pair of high heels at the store and your mind starts to drift. There's a familiar voice that talks to you. Just do it. Buy lingerie. Leave your partner. Be a sissy. These are messages from the hypnos. Adrian is now trying to quit watching porn altogether, which he says has been an absolute hell. Although he admits some people's compulsive porn usage can have real harmful effects, Jordan Dixon, a London-based clinical psychosexual and a relationship psychologist, takes umbrage with the term addiction in this context. Like sex addiction, there is no clinical evidence for the diagnosis of porn addiction, she tells me, explaining that those who attempt to curb watching porn because they believe it is bad for them often end up feeling more ashamed and depressed about themselves and their sexualities than before. For adults, she continues, pornography, like most things, can be a behavior that when well integrated within the individual's life, and it can also cause problems depending on how it's used. Now, this part I cannot show to those of you who are on the stream, but those of you who are inside the VsChat live stream, I can show this. I will show you an example of exactly what he's talking about.
Oh boy, here we go.
Let's see here. Let me see if I can find the BBC instructions one.
BBC instructions. Oh no!
And it ain't the English channel, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see here. Is it either?
It ain't the ones demanding you pay the TV license.
It's either the how to get pregnant instructions or it's the SissyHypno instruction ones. They might have gotten rid of all of them.
Yeah, they usually purge all that.
Why would they purge it?
Safety reasons.
Kyle? Why would they purge?
Safety reasons.
Yeah. Again, because of all of the amount of race play that is involved with the fetish.
As you can see here, it actually is giving me a fucking warning about your search could be for illegal or abusive sexual material, including non-sensual intimacy imagery, NCII, or image-based sexual abuse. They labeled this as basically sexual abuse content, despite the fact that it's literally just images pasted to a voice audio in the background. But I can pull up other websites for this.
At the X video.
I can't spell. So, with examples like this, you can see the dangers of vaping, FemTF preview vid, feminizing my boyfriend and making her love cock, ELX mean girl in training, the feminizer, putting estrogen in your coffee, and loving feminization fudacock, princess exception, or acceptance, being feminized by your wife, tease sissy husband and with vibrator. Fortunately, it seems that I can't find the ones that I'm particularly looking for unless I have to go looking really, really deep. 1 second. I look for that and it shows me actual articles from the BBC.com. That's funny.
Which is more horrifying to me.
SissyHypno. Looking for the most intense BBC hypno to fully convert?
Hypno
You must be logged in to send messages. Here we are. Locktober Hypnosis and Project Moonbeam. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to mute this on the side of the stream as well, chat.
That's the one kind mercy.
Okay, I think this one might be safe enough that I can be able to play the audio. There are certain phrases that you just cannot fucking broadcast. Because I'm simulcasting on multiple platforms right now.
Oh god, this is risky.
No, there's no images on the screen, so it'd only have to be off the sound.
Okay.
It'll be fine. I'm keeping it on the actual live stream, so it'll be fine.
Alrighty.
This is property of LIPD. Possession of this tape outside of a lethal industry propaganda facility or use of this tape outside of a lethal industry certified viewing facility or any alteration or modification of this tape and award appropriate reprisal from lethal students, industry enforcers. If you find yourself in possession of this tape, return it to any lethal industry propaganda facility immediately. Do not view, alter, or destroy this tape. Most of them start off like this to set the mood.
White. Black. Do you see the difference?
Those that cannot see the audio portion, there's a intersensory message that flashes on the screen in between this that says nod yes.
Do you understand the difference?
It also then flashes again nod yes.
Difference?
And then another nod
Alpha.
yes.
Beta. Do you see the difference? Do you understand the difference? Do you accept the difference? Cuckold. Bull. Do you see the difference? Do you understand the difference? Do you accept the difference? Strong. Weak. Do you see the difference? Do you understand the difference? Do you accept the difference? Inferior. Superior. Do you see the difference?
So, we don't need to watch the rest of this, but you now understand exactly how deep we're talking, okay?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is,
How does this convince people again? This convinces people? This is so stupid.
Yes! Yes!
Ugh.
But, unfortunately...
like Carl's gonna say, he's gonna cover it, I know.
Yes, this convinces people, because we're talking about people who already have weak minds, okay? We're talking about men that already have weak minds and can be easily fucking convinced that for the pleasure, the health, and the security of their partners, I can put this back on screen now, for their partners, they should just submit. And then I can't even show you the ones that are just the BBC one, because those ones will actually just have the audio of the women coming and whatnot.
Yes.
Like, it's just, believe
It's
me when
unnerving.
believe me when I say it, this shit gets to levels of cult-like behavior.
Yeah.
Ugh. God
Like,
alive.
you ever seen those commercials? What was it? It was the Fortnite Apple commercial where they have like the 1984 image on the background.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they come in with a hammer and like break it. That's the kind of level of brainwashing that shit is.
Jesus Christ, the 5 minutes of hate, the 5 minutes of BBC.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. Like
Jesus Christ.
But you're talking about people who are already mentally weak to begin with, and they already have gender. They're already. I don't know how to really
I was gonna say, it's like the only way this would actually ever convince anyone is if they already have deep-seated, like, subconscious kind of level shit for that kind of stuff.
I mean, it doesn't even have to require them having like a pre-existing condition of having psychological disorders. It only requires them to be queer and questioning.
Well, not even disorders, just they already believe it deep down, and they just use that as like, you know what, I'll take that as a convincing.
Well, it goes deeper than that. It's people who are already convinced, like, I'm not a very masculine man, and then it kind of takes them down a road.
Yeah.
Oh god, so they're basically just Nurgle followers. They just give up. They accept the debauchery.
No, it's just black pill. It hasn't even that extreme. It's not like a pre-existing condition where they get pulled down a fucking railroad like the plot of a fucking series like Twas or Twas 2, Pandora's Box. It's literally, they had a rough-handed life. They don't have a really good luck with girls. They've never been in a relationship. They've never been able to sustain a relationship. They never had sex at the minimum. They've been in relationships where they're basically kissless versions. And they're looking out, and it's like, why can't I find a woman? And if they happen to be white and male, they come across something like that, Project Moonbeam, and it's like, oh, well, that's my sexual competition. Why would a woman ever want to be with me? Look at my shit.
Yep. And then they break down, and then they just acquiesce. I mean, to be honest with you, this is, to Carl's point, I brought up R9K earlier, which is basically like I won't say incel board, but it's like usually like people who have autism or who have like kind of incel-like tendencies where they're just like sexless virgins. And people came on there and basically like psyoped the shit out of them and said, why don't you just be the girlfriend? That's all it took.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We make the joke about it now, but that happened, and that a lot of people went over there and they got caught up in some shit that they couldn't get out of.
This kind of, it sickens me, moreover, because in and of itself it is repulsive, but I am someone who is autistic and someone who's not had a relationship, and I'm just thinking, if I had gone through a really harsh, dark period, could that have been me?
Yes!
I'm disgusted.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not the thing is that once, and I'm going to say something very painful here, like once they got them over to, and I'm just going to call it what it is, they got them over to a Discord server from prying eyes and things. Once they got to getting them to do things and dress up in things and exhibit things, they were like, well, you're going to have to keep going all the way, buddy. Don't stop now.
Yeah, no half measures.
Yeah, no, ain't no half step in here. You're gonna have to go all the way, buddy. Go order this because they had material on.
Actually upsetting.
Okay, just things in the article, they get you to do something like where you're just fucking where you're jorking on stream. Just boys being boys, boys being boys.
Guys,
yes,
you're circling. You're hella circling.
I have to keep explaining because he's asking questions. But get through the point. They go deep, and it is just as simple as they will prey on people who just are worried that they'll be a bad partner, or people that really believe in fucking race realism and think, well, white women always want black men, etc., etc., etc. Just like it says here in the article, which, getting back to, Although she admits some people's compulsive porn usage has real harmful effects, Jordan Dixon, a London-based clinical psychosexual and relationship psychologist, takes umbrage with the term. Like sex addiction, there is no clinical evidence for the diagnoses. She tells me, explaining that those who attempt to curb watching porn because they believe it's bad for them feel more ashamed and depressed about themselves and their sexualities than before. For adults, pornography, like most things, can be a healthy behavior when well integrated within the individual's sex life, and can also cause problems depending on how it's used. Which, based on what I just showed you, you can see how if they're that addicted to it, how they have a problem going back to real life. Or even looking at people real. It's a real black belt problem. She also adds that heterosexual men have always had a particular bent towards feminization and the porn that accompanies it. Traditional masculinity is too prescriptive and narrow. With its values in power and wealth alongside character traits with stoicism and efficiency, feminization porn can potentially help inform and empower these men to take charge in their own sexual lives. This is a lie. This is cap. There is nothing potentially empowering about being put in a cock cage and being told how small it is. Likewise, watching it doesn't necessarily mean that someone will want it to happen IRL, as pointed out by a Rouser writer, Feminital, on Quora, a place where people go to put their opinions and then never post again for 4 years. Men who are sissies mostly enjoy the loss of control and playing a femme in role reversal, but do not actually want to be a woman, transition, or be gay, which is cap, because the entire basis of the story of 50 Shades of Grey doesn't work from the consistency point of the fact that the main character, the male protagonist himself, is somebody who would never participate in something like that if he were himself a powerful man. He would instead be doing the reverse opposite, because obviously the character of Dorian Gray specifically has his kinks because he himself was groomed by an older woman. They don't dig so much into this inside of the movie version, although they do feature the woman who's supposed to have groomed him, but in the actual version in which they're claiming exists as IRL fetish, it would be consistent that people who are usually in power would like to be powerless, and those that are usually powerless like to be powerful. That's why the trope usually is the shrinking violet becomes a violent, domineering woman who wants to shove a dildo up your ass, and the powerful CEO executive just wants to be a cummy bottom boy who is milked for everything he's worth by either a strong man or a strong woman. Thus, Dixon says that she worries about communities such as TG and SissyRecovery simply perpetuating the forbidden and providing people to coin a new deviant label when there's nothing really deviant about it. She also warns that subscribing to the idea that their love of sissy porn is an addiction are in danger of doing accidental conversion therapy. People struggling with their unwanted sexual behaviors actually need the opposite intervention, she says. Rather than staying focused on stopping the symptoms, they need to embrace as healthy sexual beings ready to face their erotic world. Adrian Dovin obviously doesn't subscribe to this belief at all. For him, the goal of SissyHypno is to literally consume you, a concept that, while hot to some people, is not what he was looking for. He says it starts with porn addiction, then cross-dressing, quote, sleeping with other dudes, and then eventually transitioning. Not because you're trans, but because you think you're a sissy. The fetish glamorizes self-destruction. I would say it glamorizes self-humiliation. He concludes.
It's a humiliation kink, yeah.
Of course, there are a few problems with categorizing any of those things as self-destructive, but when I ask Adrian if there are homophobic or transphobic undertones to his desire to recover from feminization, he insists there is not. Quote, I am sure we've both read our fair share about men who have fallen into the same habit and want to quit, he says. Most of these stories have the rock bottom as losing your job, relationship, or family for the fetish. No one hates the fact that they were dressing as a woman, they hate the fact that they were manipulated into it, or, in most cases, people finding out. It's worth mentioning, quote, it's worth mentioning that those who watch SissyHypno typically choose to do so themselves, but for guys like Adrian who feel out of control, it is easier to blame the porn than admit responsibility for what they watch. That said, Adrian does acknowledge that there are people in the feminization recovery community who are transphobic and will use the sissy fetish as what they think a trans woman is. That, or they're trying to recover from their own gender dysmorphia, which is a legitimate issue, both of which trans people have previously criticized. Meanwhile, gender-critical anti-porn feminist Genevieve Gluck and the transphobic YouTube channel Whose Body Is It have also tried to link sissy porn with the fetishization of women's oppression, while Christian YouTubers have attempted to frame feminization recovery as an escape from evil occult spirits and a return to God's path. Because of this, quote, porn star Sissy Joyce, 28, who makes feminization porn, I am not clicking that, questions whether those seeking recovery from this kink are addicted to it or just hate that they like it. The Belgium-based creator been making sissy porn for almost 10 years after discovering BDSM, chastity, and sissification with her first girlfriend. I can relate to people struggling with feminization, Joyce tells me. In the past, I've had times where I've hated myself for liking sissification, I even purged. throwing away all my female clothes and sissy toys in the trash and promising never to do it again. But as soon as I decided to accept myself and accept what I'm doing is completely fine or not harming anyone, my life got so much better. The problem is that members of the subreddit community do see sissification as harming someone, primarily themselves, but also the relationships. This is the lost person syndrome, where when a person discovers themselves and chooses to announce themselves as trans, they kill their old life and now begin the new one, and everyone has to mourn that life that it comes with and the consequences of that ending of relationship. So a married man that decides to come out as having been sissified into being a femme woman, and thus announces themselves as transgender, is basically ending a marriage, breaking up a household, and now convincing the kids and need to now be explained by mommy why daddy's a woman. Back to where I was. Problem is, blah, 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 in a relationship. However, when some of them question whether this harming is coming from feminization porn or hypno itself, or is actually rooted in their own struggles with sexuality and gender identity, they're often quickly shot down by others who affirm that it is in fact the porn that's twisted their brain wiring. There's no evidence to suggest that SissyHypno, or hypnosis in general, can do this. Professional hypnosis Neil the Erotic Hypnosis told Mel, what a fucking title. Last year, it, quote, is extremely rare that you can make someone respond to hypnotic suggestions without their consent. It has also been confirmed by science that if someone doesn't want to be hypnotized, it is unlikely that they can be at all, although someone will have to tell Stephen Hassan, one of the world's top experts on cults, as he seems to think he's at risk of being sissified if he watches feminization porn for longer than a few seconds at a time. Nonetheless, Adrian says that feminization subreddits have been a great source of help to him, especially when he had no one else to turn to. You can't tell this to anyone, he says, of his real-life social circle. How do I tell my friends and family that I've been cross-dressing for 9 months and I can't stop thinking about having sex with men, even though I don't like men? Communities like my subreddit are a great resource to show that you're not alone, which is 100% true. Because Lord knows, if motherfuckers were starting to come out in the middle of the fucking lobby as you're in Marvel Rivals being like, hey, yo, so I was thinking about cosplaying to AWA as Luna Snow. The entire amount of, hey, yo, what did he say? Will never not be heard. I'm surprised that we haven't seen people doing it as a joke, honestly. Then again, there's a lot of guys that can get away with doing female cosplays because they have the body type to get away with doing it. There's one guy in particular I'm thinking of at the moment, but I cannot bring it up because I can't remember his name and his handle. I'd have to go digging through my TikTok feed. More or less, this article breaks down what you're about to witness and have been shown thus far about how deep this rabbit hole can really go. To said edge, we now go to the subreddits, starting with TNG and SissyRecovery. What is your life outside of SissyHypno? Girlfriend who caught her boyfriend watching SissyHypno. If you're a girlfriend of a man who watches this too, feel free to answer. Since catching my boyfriend watching SissyHypno, I tried to maneuver through the situation with empathy and understanding. I understand the hard standards society places on men, on little boys. Pause. What the fuck does little boys have to do with sissification hypno that a grown man is jorking it to in his fucking home?
What? Home?
Home?
This is the political side of the issue where they try to say, yes, society and masculinity and patriarchy is making the boys into girls. The fuck?
Well, I can see I see the angle that they're trying to take, that there are a lot of male washouts that don't feel confident in themselves. They don't feel confident in them and basically being masculine on a measurable level.
Mm-hmm.
So their initial fear is that because I am not masculine, this is an alternative for me. Even though, technically, this is basically like a roadblock. You can be not as masculine or manly as every other guy and still be in a loving, caring relationship, but they just don't see it that way.
Mm-hmm. A little bit smaller. Maybe make this a bit more legible. And chroma key. There we go, chroma key. I tried to always see him as a deeply emotional, wounded little boy. Probably don't see your boyfriend as a wounded boy. However, the constant fuck-ups and self-pity is absurd. What's your life like outside of this? Are you guys, or for the girls, the guy that you're depicting lacking discipline in almost every aspect of his life? Is he the kind to run to weed or another substance, then face the problems head-on? Is he the kind to immediately seek self-destruction and projects hella insecurity on you by coming at your self-esteem and attempts to make you feel as inferior as he does? At the beginning of this journey with him, I used to think that SissyHypnos were the cause of how unstable and unmotivated and unperformative he was in life. Now I realize that SissyHypnos is actually a symptom of that. I believe that unless you're closeted or experiencing autogonophilia, your lack of showing up in your life is what keeps you coming here. You don't respect yourself enough to do something about your life. As a woman who decided to stay, I would have stayed if he decided to transition. I would participate in the sissy fetish with him if you could manage it so that there would be no escalation. Unfortunately enough, it's the fact that he's not showing up for himself that really makes me want to leave him. It's mediocre to say the least. Let's go by... let's go by oldest comments first. It's hard to deal with this as a man as myself. I've tried to stop so many times. I truly hate it, but it almost seems impossible to quit. For me, it is related to severe childhood trauma. For some reason, that's how my brain decided to deal with it all. I also use weed and alcohol to deal with everything, not every day, but probably more than I should. Leaving him is probably the right choice. While people change, he'll never change for you. People never change for other people. No matter how understanding and loving you are, he won't change. But then again, it isn't your job to baby him. He's not your child or hurt little boy. He's a bad boyfriend. Even if he was closeted, it'd take years of him transitioning for him to change the way that you want, and he'd have to work on it himself, exclamation point, exclamation point. I love throwing pity parties for myself with really bad discipline, and being honest, I wouldn't change for someone. I take the bullet for someone before changing for them, because that's just not how it works. He sure has some problems that make him act like this. Yes, fixing it is the only way for him to get better, but if it isn't your job to fix it, cut your losses. This is probably the worst advice you could possibly give. Because realistically, the main way that you would break a person out of sissification hypno and making them not feel that the porn has a grip on them that they can't run away from is just fuck the shit out of your man.
Yeah, like jork his penis until you can't jork it no more.
Like,
I mean, I see your point.
There's levels to this, okay? And what I'm about to say here would seem like, Carl, you're telling a lot about yourself, but listen, if your man has confidence issues, the way that you would want to establish those confidence issues, if you want to solve your relationship tonight, go into the bedroom or wherever he is, pull him up and away from whatever is distracting him if it doesn't require him doing something like working across with power tools or an open flame, bring him into the bedroom and tell him something along the lines of, I want it on my face.
Oh,
and then
God.
give him stimulating words of encouragement. Because what the SissyHypno is doing is making him feel like he is inadequate. Now, if he's got a micro penis, I'm sorry for you, buddy. But there are other ways to work with this. But the example I'm working with is what we're going to stay on topic here with. Go into the bedroom, pull him aside, whip it out, and tell him to lay it on your face. You know the meme with the fucking shadow eclipsing the woman? Just lay it on
Yeah.
him. Every single thing that then proceeds from that moment, based on my advice as I'm explaining it now, is specifically based on increasing his ego and removing him as far away from anything to do with him being topped, and instead him topping you in a way where he feels that he has dominance, control, and virility. Virility is the main point here. He needs to feel big. You want him to have a big ego. Doesn't matter if he's actually bad at sex. Doesn't matter if he's already a sex god. The entire point is that you need to create as much as a mental fraction away from the porn as possible. So that, why would he need to go to the porn when he can go take you into the bedroom and throw you through a fucking wall for 5 hours?
Well, I think just to sum it up a little bit more succinctly, and no, you're right. It's let's go ahead and take this into the real world because they're caught up in that digital fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
They can't escape it, and again, they can't escape it because that's become reality to them. You got to drag them out of their kicking and screaming into a real world experience. I mean, again, you don't have to like boost them and tell them everything's okay. Just let them fuck the shit out of you. It helps.
If you have to role play, by all means role play. If outfits that you're more than likely going to tear off of her will help, let that help. If scenarios and CNC will help you, then use whatever you need to at your disposal. The entire goal is basically like Oginki Den Clinic. You know what I'm talking about, Saf.
I would call
Why
him
do
out.
you say I know?
Because you were the one that reminded me of exactly everything I was looking for when I was talking about that Ratman example, where the guy couldn't have sex without having the fucking costume on. That literally
Yeah,
came from that fucking hentai that you and I were talking about on the last one,
Yes.
whatever we did. It's exactly that. You would have to find uses to remove him from the digital fantasy that he is infatuated with, or she is infatuated with online, and put it into reality. So, putting this on my relationship, if myself or Star had a problem where the other one feels inadequate about something, it is literally our job to each other to fuck the shit out of each other. Because you don't need to worry about some random man or some random woman. It's just the two of us here in this room. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Like, this is the other side of labor in relationships, let alone labor that a person's willing to do for someone else that they're engaged in a romance with. This is different when you're talking about marriages. There's still the dedication and the devotion that you're supposed to have to each other. At which point, this is just you spicing up your sex life, where it's like, oh, we have a dead bed. But as soon as I put a mask on my face and I said that I was Lori from accounting, all of a second, it sprang up like it was revivified by God itself. This is the shit where your guy's having a hard time, or your girl's having a hard time. They're getting slammed by work. They feel unconfident. They need you to be they need you to be their shoulder to talk about and to cry on with the daily issues that they have. And then, with the feelings of inadequacies that they find themselves with, put themselves in a position where they usually feel like taking second role and give them the lead. And just simply let them carry away with it. Who the fuck cares? And who's going to know? It's just the two of you in a bedroom together. Because if you listen to the poison that comes from the internet, and you look at those fucking videos that are going to trick you into believing that this is what everyone else is doing, and this is what everybody else does, especially if it's content creators like Katrina Black, which, for a YouTuber's wife, sitting next to him playing video games, then goes and films content of herself with other men, my brain would fry. My brain would fry. Because she's doing real shit. It's not no fake shit. Like what has been allegedly done by Amaranth. His wife is actually fucking other people. And him recording it. And watching her get off on it. That would kill most men. Let's keep reading. While you are smart and you have a heart, seeing people like you brings hope back. It brings my hope in humanity back. You missed a part, though. It's true that integrating the feminine side or even fetishes can be empowering, releasing the built-up stress, not caring about what other people think, but sissy hypnosis is neither a fetish or something to enjoy or embrace. The point of brainwashing is not discovering the feminine side, but destroying the self of the subject. It's degrading and decomposing. It's intoxicating in a drug way. Expecting that someone will show up for himself when the main activity here is literally erasing the self is contradictory. I cannot stress this enough. Hypnosis and brainwashing is the washing of the self, the persona, the soul, one's agency, one's core. Supporting him means getting rid of this addiction. If he's not willing to put an end to this, leave him and save yourself. When you say show up for himself is not in a way of the feminine self, more like face problems head on. Hold yourself accountable, discipline yourself. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Based on our conversations, he never questioned his sexuality prior to the hypnos. He never questioned his gender, never cross-dressed. He's emotionally wounded and fetishizes his own insecurities and trauma. He's been established that he's not on to continue watching that kind. Yet I'm not sure that he stopped. My point is, he's dragging all the self-sabotage through every aspect of his life. This means work, friendships, or relationship, and every aspect of it. My belief is that once you get moving and start showing up for yourself in life, the SissyHypno stuff will have no power. If it all starts with healing of the internal wounds as they leak over and take over every aspect of your life. The pervy monk person has it the correct way around, ironically, a fucking Moroku stan. The fact that he is correct, and then the OP replied to this 2 hours ago, and it's not like showing up for himself sexually. I mean, like being masculine. What masculine? Nigga was told that he should just let you breed black because his dick's not useful. Suck a nigga's dick! Suck his dick!
You gotta, again, this is some digital drug addict shit. Like, this is what it is. It's digital drugs. It's digital crack. Like, that shit hit the soft boy community like fucking crack in the 80s, right? You have to understand, these guys are seeing this shit. They already have inadequacy issues, and this is like a world to just like desensitize and get used to it, and then they just allow themselves to fall into the fucking hole. Then is it a problem? Yes, but you can fix it by saying, "Hey, I don't need all that. I just need you. Don't go over there. Don't go watch the porn. I got you. I got you." If you get them out of that headspace, it'll help fix it. But acting like it's not a problem, and I love the fact that the article that you read basically was like, oh yeah, so listen, it's not a problem even though you make the content, right? You are literally making the content for the people. It's not a problem. They can just turn it off. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
All right. So that is our background. I got a vocal podcast here that we could get through after we're done looking at the guy and laughing at him. But let's look at what he posts on TikTok and on his YouTube channel.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I know that guy.
First off, he has a beard just like all the rest of them. They have the, like, pseudo porn star pedo beard. It's like a digital copy of Owen Gray. I'm pretty sure Owen Gray is clean shaven.
It looks like that one character from Resident Evil 7. Like, the brother character.
This is what happens if you clone Tim Pool and you give him the SissyHypno.
It's so reactive. It's reactive.
Yeah, I was gonna say he looks like a fucking
He looks like Tim Pool's brother Reactor.
So one of the big mistakes that I see guys making consistently when they want to quit sissy porn is that they think they need to become more masculine. You see this all over. It's like lift weights, go to the gym, eat steak, you know? And these things are cool, but this is not really helping you at all. What's happening is you're actually making the problem worse because you're reinforcing the idea that there's something wrong with you, that you're too feminine, that you're not masculine enough, that the reason you watch sissy porn is because you have some inherently feminine or lack of masculine qualities, which is false. I've coached many men over the last year to quit sissy porn. None of them have struck me as particularly feminine. And they just all strike me as just regular guys who somewhere along in childhood, they learned that they need to disown aspects of themselves, which were called feminine by their dad or society or whatever. And that's what's keeping them fucking stuck.
Okay, brother of Baby No Money. But,
so one of the
I need you to
big
understand
fucking
that it's guys that look
stuck.
like you that make motherfuckers think French men look like this and are like this all the time. Because that was some extremely big cope of saying they don't need to be more masculine. Because assuming that we're talking about actual masculine traits and female traits, those are just character faults or character traits in general. So if instead of being pulled aside by their husband or wife and being told, you have a past tonight, treat me like I am a nut receptacle, does not help them. Going to the gym or working on hobbies that can then give them a goal of perfection to strive towards so they can improve and slowly cut out the distraction that is harboring the forefront of their mind. Saying that they shouldn't do that because that's not going to help them is some extreme anti-self-help work. First off, let's go to another one. The time travel exercise. Positively impact your present experience by helping the younger you.
Close your eyes right now. Close them. And now when I ask you, what was an emotionally overwhelming time in your past? I want you to go back to whatever that time was. Could have been in your early childhood. It could have been literally 3 days ago. Doesn't matter. Go back to that younger version of yourself that was having such a hard time. Give him or her a big hug and let them know it's going to be okay. Can you finally be there for them now? Perhaps for the first time, and let them know it's going to be okay, feeling unconditionally whatever they're feeling. So taking on that burden now, feeling it with them, letting them know it's okay to feel how they're feeling, that they don't have to feel any different way, that it's not going to kill them, they're going to be perfectly fine, and then let them know that your life's gotten awesome. Let them know how your life is now. You know, you've done all these cool things since then, you didn't die, you made it, this big overwhelming event is really not going to be that big of a deal. Go back and help the younger version of you, and it will positively impact your current self. Close your
Just go back in time, guys. Just imagine that we are Ashton Kutcher in The Butterfly Effect. And go back in time and save yourself from your past event and heal your younger self like you're in Until Dawn. That's the goal.
Thanks, Samurai Jack.
No comments, by the way. Let's go to another one.
So tell me if this sounds familiar. You start doing nofap, you go on for a week, maybe 2 weeks or something like that, and then you relapse. And you're just overloaded with shame and guilt and regret, and this overwhelms your body, it just floods your body, and you're just like, my life is over. You can't fucking believe I relapsed again. You go on Reddit, you start complaining and ranting to everybody. You just like get so fucking pissed. Maybe you start smoking weed and going in a downward spiral because you want to cover up all that shame. Maybe you go on a massive porn binge, watching even more porn to cover up the shame. Well, here's the crazy thing. This is actually an incredible opportunity. Okay, if you just took on this simple mindset shift, it would help you massively. This is a massive opportunity for you because now you can actually feel in all of that guilt, regret, shame, all that stuff you've been running away from and suppressing. Maybe you're even doing nofap just so you don't have to feel that way. Maybe you were taught that sex is bad or wrong, or maybe you're watching porn to cover up that guilt and shame, but now you have a chance to actually integrate it and transform. So tell me if this sounds familiar.
So there was no ending to that.
Nope. Okay, so integration.
So you don't have to feel that way.
Integration is very important because integration is shadow work. That's what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that saying that men are ashamed of themselves if they do nofap is useful because I'm pretty sure a person who doesn't masturbate chronically is just a person who's celibate or is practicing abstinence.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I love the comments on this.
There's only two. I love jacking off, and this is real. Period.
He's so declarative about that. Carl.
So no matter what you,
let's get into this one. I want you just to look at this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he remind me of the Coomer meme?
Because he is. Like this is Baby No Money. What do you mean? This is
he's got the red
eyes.
He's got the red eyes like I've been up all night staring at things I ought not to. He has the smile, the beard. It's like
He just reminds me of Lucas from Resident Evil 7.
I hear it said sometimes some of these memes are based in truth.
This is the guy who is probably the originator of that Gooner meme.
Yes. Now this is wonderful here. You got to read this. God did not make a mistake with your life. Rather, you must develop the capacity to receive the gifts God gives you in the form of challenging the experiences you go through and the uncomfortable emotions that surface in your awareness. Hashtag spirituality, trauma healing, wholeness, and shadow integration.
Been through in life, no matter what you're going through in life, and no matter what you will go through in life, it is all valid and required. God does not make mistakes. What you are going through is happening for you, not to you, and you are experiencing it because it's part of your emotional growth. It's part of your journey towards becoming whole, right? It's your holiness, your wholeness, okay? And that holiness, that wholeness that we want is actually embracing the whole of your life.
Please stop saying whole!
Please stop saying whole. I will give you money to
He
stop
has to
saying
make up for all
whole.
the holes he's not getting.
Just embrace the whole guy. Just embrace it. Embrace all of it.
Not just embracing the good parts and saying, pushing away the bad parts and saying, I don't want that. It's learning to embrace everything because
Needless
only
to
in its
say, being
wholeness
a
is life
cooler is
actually
not part of God's intention.
full and complete. And if you're not embracing the wholeness of life,
He only wants you to be a coomer if you're cooming inside of women. Remember, Onin got smote because he wasted the nut on the ground. So as we learned from Moral Oral, you need to be God's baker.
I'm filling
like
all
your
those
life
pies.
is not fulfilled. It's
Jesus
not
Christ.
Full. It's not whole and complete, and you will always feel broken and shattered. And it's not helpful, and it's in my opinion spiritually inaccurate. God does not
Specifically
fuck
one
up.
woman.
That's a
See,
very
I'm gonna be honest.
That's very
I feel like this is a shallow reenactment of what should be as far as a conversation. Like he's just not. He's giving you so much of like a one-sided basic idea of like what to do, and it's so abstract. I'm like, look, bro, I get it. You took a 101 class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. But like, you got to give people like the basics. Start from ground zero if you're gonna go with an idea like this. Like, you just can't be like, don't let your memes be memes and shit. You got to like flesh that out or something. You got to give them more to work with, especially for people who are fighting an addiction.
I love that the comment on this one is another single comment from Christy Austin that's just a heart emoji.
Kissy face.
This kissy face heart emoji. And she just seems like a normal woman. She has a squirrel for a pet, but just normal.
I don't think she's normal. I saw that picture. I saw some of those pictures. She has those dead eyes.
It looks like she works at an animal rescue, so whatever.
Maybe.
People are allowed to have weird hobbies.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember, like you said, Carl, there are women that are in this spectrum too, and you know, they're usually like the harder Fujoshi types. So
let's see, what's the next lesson to learn?
So I'm going to teach you an unconventional.
Use this secret technique hidden in plain sight to improve the quality of any area of your life that's causing dysfunction. Hashtag trauma healing, shadow integration, law of attraction, self-development, self-help, spiritual awakening. Awaken my spirit. Show me my third Ojai.
Way to improve the quality of your experience in any area of your life that is causing you discomfort. And it's so simple. All you have to do is bring an awareness of, say, your relationship. Let's just use that as an example, but whatever it is for you that's causing you discomfort, any area of your life. But let's go with relationships. So bring into your mind an awareness of your relationship partner. Now, notice that there's a mental aspect to this. There's the story that you've been telling yourself about it. Okay, there's the analysis using your anal eyes.
Why would you say it that way? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Sorry.
Your anal eyes.
Is it a dry eye? I don't know.
Is it a prolapse eye?
Look through your brown eye. It's just a hole, your brown eye. I will console your brown eye.
You know, when I hear people talking about their third eye, that's not normally the location.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't know your chakra was in your ass crack.
No, that's not their third eye, it's their turd eye.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
Opening your turd
chakra.
I don't, okay, so these videos feel like they're just the ramblings of a psychopath. Oh, Jesus, yeah. There it is. It is. It's the root chakra.
It's the root chakra. You're having problems in your relationship? Open your root chakra and experience the brown hole realization.
Oh,
no, that sounds kind of gay.
Open your seventh gate and let your shadow integrate itself into your brown eye.
Listen, Peon, you gotta understand, man. It's just bros being bros in the woods. We're just opening up our chakras.
It's just guys being dudes. What's more beautiful than that?
Just boys being boys.
Just what's more beautiful than that? Guys being dudes.
It's just a bunch of men in the woods just opening up their chakras for each other. I don't know.
Opening up their turd eyes for each other. Yeah, and seeing that inner truth.
They're trying to wink to Kabbalah.
Oh, it's just I don't know where this guy's going with this. Like, I don't know where he's trying to take this. It feels like, again, it feels like some it feels like a fucking 101, a psychology 101 class that you're just like, yeah, do the work. And it's like, okay, what's the work? You know, the work.
Now,
okay,
I did all that setup to set up the serious part of the discussion of this, so that now that we are here, you cannot convince me that this nigga is saving men from sissy porn.
Okay, I'm ready.
You cannot convince me that this man is saving men from sissy porn. This is a man who is trying to basically convince them that, no, you're not doing it the right way. You don't need to become a woman. You just need to be a gay man.
So anal about everything, you're mentally analyzing it, but then there's the felt resonance, seeing with the eyes of the heart. There's the emotion that arises in your body as you think of this. Okay, you're gonna have to let go of this and let go of the story in order to enter into the emotional realm. Now, if you can give that emotion, that felt resonance, unconditional attention every single day for just a short period of time, you will attract into your life circumstances specifically designed to help you integrate that stuff and let it go.
So when I integrate that stuff into my life, when I let go of the story of, say, how myself and Star met and how our relationship developed over years of time, including the separation period, Do I need to open my butt to God?
God
do I
damn
need,
it, Carl.
Open that ass to Allah.
Do I need to downwards dog and Sun Warrior invert pose on a handstand? Do I need to make sure that I have both knees tucked up against my chest, holding them back with my legs? You know?
I mean, it would help.
I mean, this is supposed to be a secret technique that's supposed to help you improve any quality of your life. Just open your root chakra to God and just consider integrating your emotional spirit while you may or may not be getting topped.
Listen, whatever enters you is God's will. You may or may not be at a gym, and you may or may not be in a bathroom, in a stall maybe, but whatever enters you, that's God's will. Like, the fuck is this? It's Drake's God's plan playing in the background.
So I had a teenage girl reach out to me recently, and she said,
"What a
she's having
sentence!
problems."
What a sentence!
Calm down. Listen, calm down, Destiny.
So I had a teenage girl reach out to me recently, and she said she's having a problem in school where a girl is bullying her. One of these popular, like, mean girls is bullying her and making her feel bad, and she doesn't know what to do about it. So I'm going to give you a very simple social dynamic that you can use to neutralize any experience like this at all, and actually maybe turn it into a positive experience where you look higher
That's the... Yeah, if you're looking for the things, then you might be able to spot them easier.
So this guy's just like a digital guru, right?
Pretty much.
About it. So I'm going to give you
I am putting this in the same category I usually put pickup artistry. That it's like, if this gives you like a useful mental framework to deal with a particular scenario, it could be useful. But in general, you're not making it out of the sissy dungeon with this one.
It's just babble. It's
a very simple social dynamic that you can use to neutralize any experience like this at all, and actually maybe turn it into a positive experience where you look higher status than the bully or the mean girl. And so what you have to understand is that in any social situation, one person is reacting more than the other person is reacting to them.
Oh God, no, not this advice. No, the react less. No.
You have to T-pose on her. In her darkest moments, just stand over her and just T-pose.
Just imagine the funk in your mind as you stand there and you're like, huh? I didn't hear you.
God's the only guaranteed way.
But I'm going to ask a question, Carl.
Yes.
So he's talking about some, teenage girl. Why the fuck is the soundtrack SissyRecovery?
Oh no, man. Especially considering what he wrote on this. Is someone in school bullying you or making fun of you? Here's a quick and easy way to turn the tables and make them look low status and dumb.
Oh, so that's what you meant by you got in contact with a teenage girl. The teenage girl was bullying him.
That was the last time she ever did that. I T-posed on her and told her who's the boss. Get the fuck out of here.
Jesus Christ.
Hashtag teen bully girl power teen talk high school emotional health teen talk. No, fuck teen talk twice. High school, middle school, bullying awareness, social dynamics.
Okay, Jeffrey Marsh, what the fuck are you doing?
And that person will be perceived as lower status. So what she's doing to you is she's making you emotionally reactive by being mean to you so that she triggers your emotions and then other people perceive her as higher status. So what you have to do is go into your mind, visualize the worst case scenario, the worst thing she could do to you over and over again. Allow yourself to feel all those emotions and let them run their course until you've neutralized that emotional charge. And then when it happens to you, it doesn't even matter, you're not reactive, and then she looks dumb. So I had a teenage girl reach out to me.
What the fuck was even this?
Yeah, if only he he knew this advice at the time. He could have made that teenage girl look dumb. The teenage girl bullying him.
To save yourself being socially embarrassed, imagine her in her underwear. So that when she kicks you in the teeth, you've already imagined the worst case scenario of her beating you in her underwear. Inputs unclear. Now attracted to dummy mommy girlfriends that are aggressive.
As you're bleeding from the mouth, I unlocked a new kink. I'm sorry.
Recently.
Okay. This one actually
I meet that teenage girl again after I've unlocked my brown eye.
Oh, Jesus
This
Christ.
one actually has a cover, which along with the other one that was the break free from shame after a relapse is why the hashtag NoFap community failed us all. How did they fail you?
So let's talk about why the NoFap community has become a big fucking
Okay, this one actually has backing track. Enjoy that from Akon.
I end up coaching guy after guy who has been brainwashed into thinking that masturbating and having an orgasm has caused him to lose all of these supposed superpowers that he gained when he happened to stop binge watching porn. The porn causes all these problems with his dopamine, he stops watching the porn, then he has so-called superpowers, which is just feeling normal and healthy. Then he jerks off and gives himself a placebo poison pill, a reverse placebo effect where he believes that jerking off is going to cause all of these fucking problems in his life, and so he actually has them. In the mid-1900s, the famous psychiatrist Wilhelm Reich wrote an entire book.
You pronounced that a little bit too good, buddy. Your pronunciation there was spot on. Excuse me.
I thought he was going to start asking people for their papers.
I thought he was about to yell out,
Called The Function of the Orgasm, which you should absolutely read because it explains how all of this bioenergy builds.
Function of the orgasm.
Bro, is he trying to sell a book?
So
By the way,
bioenergy is what you get
I
from
don't
eating
know.
food.
The Functions of the Orgasm, Sex on Economic Problems by Wilhelm Reich. 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. Published 1927.
Oh, jeez.
Old piece of work that I'm pretty sure I could find a PDF for.
Yeah. By the way, Horror dropped something in the chat just for you, Carl.
Start watching the YouTube videos. I plan to. Now we have another one to go to once we are done looking at this. Let's do one more of these. Let's do one of the more recent ones. So let's look at... Let's use this one or this one. Let's do spirituality and sissification.
So for guys struggling...
Move to the goddamn. That's only loud because I had to because I jorked up the sound. We'll move that down to 150. Let's look at this last one before we get into the YouTube videos.
With sissy porn addiction, a big thing that helps is spirituality, if you will. Not like religion necessarily, but just the idea that who you already are is the love, validation, approval, safety, security, oneness that you're seeking through the porn usage and through the sissification and through all of that. It is that masculine energy already that you are trying to get through men, for example, and it's the feminine energy that you are trying to embody that you feel you have lost or disowned, and you're trying to now embody that or externally bring it into wholeness, when in reality you are already whole and you don't need any of those externals.
That's really gay. Also, that's really the wrong way to go about it, and spirituality would not help with that. What help with that is actually the conversation of making space for people in your personal lives. So if you have a friend that needs you to give them a shoulder to hear, listen, and cry on their issues for, the masculine thing would be that when you hear them tell you something, the normal male response is to relate to it and say, yeah, I had something like that happen to me too. Whereas the female response would be more to listen to it in whole and then trauma bond over your own experience that is similar to the thing that happened to them and to vibe on that. Because the masculine desire is that men do not share unless they feel safe to, and then they share not when a woman demands them want to in a normal relationship situation, not with other men, with friends and whatever, but in a relationship between a man and a woman. If a man is asked to share his emotions, he has to make time for himself to parse those emotions. And he has to be capable of going on and talking. Because men, when it comes to their emotions, are in fact, what I'm looking for, they are polyglots. They have diarrhea of the mouth. Because we will go on and talk about the things that bother us. But we don't just stop with one thing. When somebody asks us about how my day was, I'm not going to be like, well, my day at work was like this. Teresa said this to me, and then Dale asked me to do this, and then that made me feel bad because I ... Instead, it's going to get a lot more metaphysical to the point of where fucking Mike Tyson told that girl about the metaphysical state of death during that boxing match he was getting ready for. And then,
Oh yeah.
and then
Oh,
of course, the female way would be that if you go by the idea of the male filter, men will listen and will ask you to explain to them what the problem is if they perceive there to be an issue. The female filter will say, well, you should tailor what you're saying to me, because if I don't like the thing that you're talking about, why would I want to hear it? I should be hearing about things that I like because I want it to be about me. That kind of centering of attitude is the masculine and feminine in a situation. So if I were being asked something or was asked to give my shoulder to listen to someone who's close to me, the masculine desire would be that what I want to immediately do on knee-jerk is to say, wait, what's wrong? Tell me what's wrong and how I can fix it. But I don't need to fix anything. I just need to listen. That's the masculine edge speaking against the feminine edge. The feminine edge wants to slow down, take pace, take time, be considerate, listen, and allow them to have the space in which to feel their emotions. This is where spirituality would technically come into play, because now you would relate this to the concept of how your religion taught you to deal with peacetime concerns on the matters of the mind and the heart. But you don't get that if you just have no real religious background basis and you remove it completely from shadow work. Because if you didn't notice, on his hashtags on the side here, he still has spirituality shit, but he starts working them into the sentence. Why hashtag spirituality can be so helpful for hashtag sissification / sissy addictions. There ain't a shit thing in here to do with shadow work or anything else but that. It's just yapping. And now you got motherfuckers that are asking questions like facts. Sissy porn?
I don't know, there's this dude, he was pretty convincing. He said that if you open up your brown eye, you can be cured of sissy addiction.
I'm out. What is sissy porn? He's extremely closed-minded. Nobody knows what the fuck he's talking about here. Everyone's lost.
Yeah, I mean, that last one was even... I don't think they understand what the fuck they're talking about, and they're just like, oh, this is just some really, like, hateful shit, and it's like, no, this guy's just babbling. But yeah. I don't know what you got out of it, but, I mean, I can get shit out of it.
So let's finish this, and then we're going to move to the video.
But you have to just simply identify with the version of you. In other words, you identify with the whole, with everything that you already are. And that oneness, if you say that totality, already is enough.
Yeah, that's extremely gay, fucking Javik
it isn't.
Cosplayer. That's extremely
well, you
fucking
already
stupid.
are people.
That's extremely fucking dumb. Alright, let's move to the YouTube videos. Escape from sissy hypnosis fast. Occult secrets unveiled. 42 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. Why did you title it like this?
Is the man that this dude needs.
He needs to groom his beard.
And he named the channel SissyRecovery. If you don't know what that is, you don't... Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, they're all named like this. He named all of the things that he controls like this. He named them all SissyRecovery. Let's get into it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back.
Okay, so where was that energy on your fucking TikToks?
Why do you sound like God? What's the guy's name that does all the new shit on YouTube?
Are you thinking of Tenpool?
No. The other guy.
Ludwig?
No. He's the OG. That's been doing like all the YouTube videos about news and shit like forever in a century.
Hello, everybody. It's drug addict Keemstar here.
I mean, let's just go with that. He basically came in with such high energy, and it's like you have that YouTuber voice, and it's such. You're trying to tell us about the occult. I would assume that you'd come in kind of like Styx Hexenhammer, but you just came in all the way, just Keemstar. Let's get it right into the news. Oh God.
To Sissy Recovery. Have you ever wondered why I start every video like this? Why I get so fucking excited at the beginning of the video?
No, but I'm scared.
The men in my basement opening their chakras.
It's because I usually go a week or two without making one. Because I just kind of forget how fucking awesome it is to share knowledge and to help you guys. And then I set up the camera, my laptop. I set up the light. I set up the microphone. I get going. And it's just like a massive boost in my mood, my vibration, if you will. What happens is I'm like, oh shit, I'm sharing, I'm helping,
I'm improving the fucking world.
I doubt that, and the vibrations and the energy of what? Your root chakra?
I don't know, the people opening up his brown eye.
Methamphetamines. That's
And that is
I feel
actually
fucking stoked.
such a high vibration thing. And so, I guess the first thing we could talk about here for you guys about your sissy recovery journey is that you got to find something like that. You got to find something similar to that where you can just fucking get into it, where you start doing it and you're like, this is awesome.
You know, I do have that. It's called Star. And video games.
I just want to get into it. Come on, guys. Go down the journey with me.
You know, I used to be like computer programming too. I'd like start doing the programming. I put on my hacker music, like the Mr. Robot soundtrack, and I'd be like, taking down the evil corporations. And then,
that's so cringe. Oh my god.
I turned into Hacker Man in my basement.
Holy shit. No.
Literally, it just, the time would fly by.
Is this your king? Is this your Kabbalah king? Is he saving these men from the bussy?
With my program, 96
so yeah,
steps,
you'll
you
notice
don't
it's
have
very
to be the
different
bussy.
from the sissy porn, right? You turn on the sissy porn, it's like maybe it feels good for like a few minutes, but like pretty soon you're just like, oh fuck, I didn't come yet. Now I'm fucking flaccid. Now my brain's already bored. Now I just gotta get hard again. Like just gotta get back into it, and then like you just force yourself to finish because you're just like, as you sit there, just like, what am I doing? The fuck am I doing? You know? God. And maybe you haven't done it in a really long time, and so then you finally do it, and it's not like that, and it actually is really engaging. You're like, whoa! And then like inevitably, you chase that fucking high, you chase it over and over again, and then it just becomes this absolute drag. It just absolutely sucks. Whereas doing something like this, it gets better every time. The more I do it, the better I get at it, the more I can kind of get in your guys' heads, really share this information in a way that's gonna like turn some keys in your brain, and I get more excited about that. People message me, they're like, you changed my life, etc. It's like more and more and more upward spiraling of how we're going in this in terms of making a contribution, a positive contribution. Now, this
live streaming is like masturbating to sissy porn. Said SissyRecovery. It's more engaging. It opens your mind. It lets me put keys into your brain.
And deep in your brain. Oh, I don't even know. Like, this came off so, like... I don't know. This was just, like, it came off really strong at the start, and it's uncomfortably strong.
I am uncomfortable every time I pause in this man's face, and he's making a new facial expression that's going to haunt my nightmares tonight.
This is going to make some weird sounds probably, so let me just move my mic up. I'm struggling with this mic setup because it's not meant to be like this. It's actually a standing mic. But I want the cool YouTuber look. So, oh yeah. So look at that shit. This is actually a mic turned sideways. All right, but whatever. So, I didn't really structure this video. I don't really structure my videos. And some guy was like,
I can tell! Boy, can I tell you have no structure.
You should fucking script them. 30 seconds. What are you doing? Like, you stupid, like, idiot. You should just appeal to all the Zoomers and their TikTok brains. And I'm like, no. You guys are smarter than that. I know you are. We're not going to make shitty 30-second videos that teach you nothing. And I'm not going to dress up in like a suit and be like, these are the 5 tips to quit sissy porn. I'm just going to sit down and fucking unload everything I know on you guys because that's...
you gotta unload on us, man.
He's gonna sit down and fucking unload on you guys.
Every time he says something fucking sussy-wussy, first off, pause, right?
Sussy-wussy poggers, pause.
Secondly, like, this is so disorganized that I don't think anybody's gonna get anything out of this. Like, I know there's some people in the comments down there that may have, like, how long is this video? 42 minutes? Like, dude, this should have been a 15-minute thing.
I can't imagine what the fuck he's gonna yap about for 42 minutes worth of time.
I don't know. It's gonna be bad, though. Let's go.
Like, those are the kinds of videos where it's just some guy straight telling me the truth. That's what actually helped. Okay, some like well-rehearsed little presentation thing with like a call to action 5 minutes of like click below for my premium program. That shit never helped me. Okay, you know, it's always some fucking bullshit like that people do with the stupid clickbait. Now I know I use stupid clickbait, but like I don't want to become some dumb generic YouTuber that just gives like 5 tips written by ChatGPT. Like I actually quit sissy porn. I haven't watched porn in forever.
Well, that's a giant revelation.
He just gave you a Men's warehouse speech right there. Like, not only do I sell this, but I'm also a member. What the fuck is this? Oh, this is so manic. Okay, all right.
Okay. All right, I'm stable.
I don't watch porn. I know how to do this. I don't need ChatGPT. Okay, fuck that shit. Okay, so let's actually break it down. One thing that's been on my mind lately that I really want to actually talk to you guys about is, well, let me first start out by saying something I never say on this channel. So the main point of this channel has always been like emotional healing and, you know, getting in touch with your inner child and all these deeper things, because I assume that you guys already went to like NoFap subreddit or watched some other guy on YouTube, and like every other NoFap subreddit guy is just like, man the fuck up, stop being a pussy and fucking lift weights. And a lot of people, they come to me because they're like, damn, you're not like that. You actually have like deeper wisdom and insights that'll really help me that I don't hear a billion times a day. And so in this video, the first thing I gotta say is, if you are attracted to my content, there's actually a good chance that you need to hear that other shit. In other words, there's a very good chance that if you're like, oh, I hate those guys who tell me to lift weights and be a man and man up, I hate that shit, there's a good chance that you hate that because you know it's true. You know that deep down, if you're that guy, there's a good chance that deep down, you actually want to be like a masculine, cool guy that makes money and gets girls and is successful and does that whole masculine rigmarole thing that, yeah, it's indoctrinated by the culture and the patriarchy and all that shit, but nevertheless, you actually want that. Some part of you wants that, and you're not going.
Now, excuse me, sir. You explicitly said in your content that what some people should do is not go to the gym and hit the weights, because actually that's not going to help them at all. You explicitly told them having discipline and having gym regimen was anti-healing from sissy porn. So which one is it?
Listen, bro, just watch Andrew Tate and then come back here.
Whichever one will get the worst results.
I need everyone to crash out with me. Come on, guys.
You're not going to be at peace with yourself and move on until you at least get those basic things in life handled. And so, like discipline. And so you might be coming to my channel to avoid hearing that. And so for you guys, stop being a fucking pussy, man up, and stop watching porn like a fucking loser.
And then they immediately went back into regression and put the skirt back on. Congratulations, you scared them. Like gazelles. Like fucking gazelles.
You scared them back into the skirt. God damn it.
Behold, SissyRecovery, the sissy king.
Horror, this is a fucking gold mine. Jesus Christ.
Okay. You guys need to hear that, right? That you're all the guys that are like, I love you because you don't say stuff like that. Like my mommy. It's like, no, you actually do need to hear that. Okay? The point of my channel is not that that's not important. Okay? Discipline and action taking and exerting will, the masculine aspect of consciousness, is extraordinarily important. That's what my last video.
You said that it fucking wasn't on the fucking TikToks.
Right? You literally said doing all that isn't going to help you. Listening to me pontificate for 45 minutes will help you.
Now look, like the Carl method of making your relationship spicy again by having your wife give you extreme eye contact blowjobs quite literally is going to be better work than what you've told these men to do thus far. My method will fix a relationship.
Well, a lot of the men watching his channel probably don't have wives, though.
Well, yes, but going out there and actually meeting a woman in real life would really help them out there. And maybe giving them the confidence to do that would really help them out. Get them a little sloppy toppy. But rather than do that, you're going to not only try to pontificate, but also try to like drill sergeant this shit, which makes no sense.
Videos about. That's why I made that last video, because I realized like I'm only talking about half the picture, because I assume you guys already know that half, but a lot of people don't. So yes,
what's the other half?
New Agers, listen up. Very, very religious people that think Jesus is just going to come save them, and so they don't have to do anything but pray all day. Listen up. You are responsible for saving yourself. You are responsible for helping us to save the world. You are responsible for the shit that we're manifesting, this crazy nightmare Orwellian scenario.
You are responsible for sucking the dick. You are responsible for riding the pole. You are responsible for the pull-ups, so that when you go to the gym and you show off that you've got muscles and then wear the dress out to that date, and you get your legs strung up behind your head, and now he's doing sit-ups using your body. You're responsible for your life and how you fix it and how you get fucked.
You are responsible. You're responsible for not watching porn, okay? So if you're just like, I don't want to take action, I just want to meditate all day and cry about my trauma, it's like you are the fucking problem. Man up, all right? But then on the other side of the equation, you see I'm trying to make a hole here, because there is a hole.
There he goes about holes again.
The whole philosophy.
It's not even a hole. It's a fucking spade. Truth. It's a spade. The sissy of spades. That's what you might as well call your channel.
the sissy triangle.
Okay, there's masculine and damn, the conspiracy theorists are gonna be like, what is he doing? What does that mean? I don't know what it means. Okay, but I would assume, by the way, total tangent, but whatever, since I've learned a lot of you guys like the conspiracy theory stuff based on my last video, this is a pyramid, okay? And the pyramid, if you've noticed, it's actually going from base consciousness at the base of the pyramid, which is duality, that's why there's 2 points, to unity at the top where there's only 1 point, because you go from being a fucking dullard in base consciousness and black and white thinking and us versus them thinking, and I'm separate from everyone else, I'm just my little ego, like a fucking Satanist thinking, to like, we are all connected, we are all one. That's the 1 point at the top of the pyramid, okay? So that's the symbolism of the pyramid. But regardless, and it's our job to ascend to higher consciousness. That's the whole point of the fucking pyramid. Okay. And
He is twink TN.
You can clearly tell that the lack of structure is coming in at this point.
I have enjoyed in almost 6 months. I have so much energy. So much energy.
And you'll notice, well, whatever, we don't have to get into that. Okay. You can look that shit up on your own. But total tangent. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying. There's masculine and there's feminine, and they come together to create that unification at the top of the pyramid, like we were just talking about, okay? And so some of you guys, god damn it, look at this mic setup. Like, this is why I'm struggling. Is like this mic is supposed to stand upright, so it's hard to get it to just not fall over all the time.
Dude, just edit your fucking videos.
All right, so the point here is, a lot of you guys are all fucking pussified by society, and that sucks, because we need the masculine aspect of consciousness.
In the room. But if you notice, as you watch the footage, as we keep watching once I get back, you'll notice that the mic just keeps sliding downwards towards the floor. Almost like even the mic wants to be a sissy again. Because it's not helping build up anyone's self-esteem.
Stay up. Nah, I ain't got that. Oh, jeez. Like, I'm gonna look at the chat here for a second. I was making the reference in my head, poor, but I'm gonna be honest with you.
Give me 1 second, I need to go outside. I'll be right back.
This guy was just, all this frenetic moving makes me uncomfortable. Like, it's hard to focus on anything he has to say when he moves around like he just left methadone. Like, he's just like, the mic won't stay up. I'm like, dude. This is uncomfortable. That and you literally are the true definition of the Coomer meme, because I saw that whole ass strong arm over there.
Maybe this is like demonically influenced, like with the Rutger episode.
Oh, yes. I don't know how he's coming across, but again, we were supposed to get into 5 points. We haven't even made it into point 1 yet. And what are we at? Like, we're almost 10 minutes into a 47-minute or 42-minute video, and he's throwing up hand signs like he's Jay-Z and shit. Like, he's got nothing here. I don't know where he's going with this. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna do more moving of the microphone. I'm placing bets. Anybody here or in the chat, I'm placing bets right now that this is gonna be like 42 minutes of him calling you a sissy for not manning up.
Wait, this is 40-some minutes?
Yeah. Like we're only like 10. We're almost 10 minutes into this video before Carl left.
Oh, like, Christ.
So he's literally just like doing hand motions. He can't stay still. The mic won't stay down or stay up.
I might have to bow out. It's getting late for me in the day.
You need to save yourself.
Well, it's just Jack wanted to show us something. He wanted to say something, but he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't able to get into the voice chat, so he DM'd me a bunch of stuff that I wanted to read to Carl before I left. But fuck.
Well, I know Carl will be right back, but
okay.
I mean, this is just
because there was a video with it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a bit of a long post. It's a bit of a read, but it's not. Like, he was trying to get something off his chest, but he wasn't able to. So he asked me if I could. I said, yeah, I'll try.
Yes, and they're not for you.
There he is.
Okay. Let's continue.
You need that. You need to take action. The reason we're in this fucking mess is because all of you guys are like, oh, this is great, Whitley. Good for you. Yay, Whitley. You talked about the conspiracy. Yay, you're helping people. Yay, Whitley. It's like, what fuck, you take action yourself. Like,
I guess his name is Whitley, but okay.
If you're concerned about the grand conspiracy and the agenda, you should also be informing others and educating others to the best of your ability. This doesn't take that long. This video is probably gonna take me like an hour to record and like an hour to put on the internet. You can do it too. I'm not some special human being trying to help people out of this shit. You also should be taking action towards whatever your gifts are, making those, like taking those gifts and
what the fuck?
applying them.
Why would we watch you?
Okay, that's the
What a fucking message to tell guys. Look, I'm just a normal guy. Look how long it took me to make this video. Why am I the only one enlightening these men? These men need to enlighten themselves.
Thought you had secrets, bro. I mean, I know you got one secret, but I mean, we already know that secret with all that hand movement.
Like, how the fuck would they reach the eternal oneness of their whole if their whole isn't already opened?
Carl, it has to be moist. Also, I know there was someone that wanted you to read something.
If you don't mind me, Carl, it's just Jack said he wanted to try to get into the voice chat, but he wasn't able to. So he sent me stuff that he wanted to type, and he wanted to know if, what your thoughts on it. Do you mind if I just read through that?
Sure.
It's just he had a video connected to it that I'll forward to you, but I wanted to read this. It was something he wanted to get off his chest.
I got something from that well, I got a message that said they had something from the person, but they deleted it, so...
Okay. Do you mind if I read it?
Sure.
It'll just take me a minute. I was going to say this in the voice chat for the stream that's happening right now, but I realized that I don't have access to VC, so I'll just DM it to you. You can share with the others. I used to be part of this online comedy collective called Studio Guerrilla. I'm not sure how you say it. And one of the videos they made while I was involved with them specifically about Bambi sleep. The leader of the group, Pavel, did some research into both Bambi sleep itself and the Bambi sleep recovery community. And he came to the conclusion that for a lot of people, the struggle to overcome the hypnosis was actually part of the fetish. Basically, a big part of what makes SissyHypno and degradation kinks as a whole appealing is knowing that at any point you could stop the degradation. It's all about letting yourself be humiliated. In Pavel's view, the SissyHypno is so low quality that you can't really be affected by it, but the listeners pretend that it does so. They can indulge in a fantasy about being sexually tortured. Not to trauma dump, but as somebody who has struggled with porn addiction, not sissy stuff specifically, I know that even low quality stuff can do a number on somebody. So I'm sure that there are a lot of guys who genuinely are struggling because of Bambi sleep. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these SissyHypno recovery groups online, Bambi or otherwise, were basically degradation role play servers in disguise. And I'm gonna forward you, if you don't mind me doing that, Carl.
Hold on.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
it was a.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to forward it directly to you. I just hold on.
Do I want to know what Bambi sleep is?
It was the channel that I showed off in the beginning of the channel, where it has hypno messages and sound effects that are disembodied playing in the background as a form of degradation hypnosis. He's marked as Mendigo Kiva, so he was able to join in here. It's just that nobody pulled him in from the audience to the speakers.
I have no idea. Maybe it was just a technical glitch on the side. It's just I wanted to get off I wanted to get that out of the way, make sure I kept my promise because I do have to go soon.
Okay.
But it was nice seeing y'all.
That's 6 minutes. We will do that after. Actually, no, we can do that now. It's short enough.
Actually, I do want to see what this is. I'm curious.
There is no way of cushioning this following video up. What you will be subjected to is regarded by many Reddit users as being tremendously dangerous. It is extremely irresponsible to be left freely available to children of all ages. It is marriage-wrecking, life-destroying. It is Bambi sleep. Our story begins in 1960s America with John McCone, director of the CIA, after a long session of sodomy that involved numerous state rulers, as is common in the higher USA caste, McCone proposed the idea of researching mind control. He was applauded by everybody in the Black Cube room on Saturn, and then was given the privilege of being atop for the rest of the session, and thus Project MK Ultra was born. The project became infamous for its use of civilian test subjects, either through obscure arcade games, a media outlet called something like Guerrilla Studios, and American Buddhist musician Charles Manson. Strange, he doesn't look like he's from the Nepal. It is now around the 1990s, Vice Admiral William Stüdman, a powerful warlord in the possession of the NSA and CIA, combines the Halotaisis bomb project and the MK Ultra project under an unknown designation. This is where insider information from our non-schizophrenic source, the now gone Andrew Cunningham, ends. They found Andrew in his home with a dozen 22 long rifle shots in his lungs. The jury's day, they ruled it as a suicide before his house mysteriously burns down. Rest is in the clouds, brother. The year 2000 whizzes by. 2010, 2015, Marvel movies start becoming profitable. 2016, the LGBT movement grows in power. Coincidence? 2018, 2019, 2020, the world is unrecognizable. Taking naps is now considered gay. So is listening to prog rock. Plus, there's a global pandemic going on or something. I haven't looked that much into it. A new devil appears in the anus of the internet, Reddit. Users begin to warn against the effects of a mysterious series of sissy hypnosis videos called Bambi Sleep. Many vouch for its incredibly powerful symptoms. One man writes to whomever runs this account and all accounts associated with this specific hypnosis series, please stop. I've been studying sexual development and development for fetishes for a good majority of my life. That is one hell of a career choice. This is incredibly harmful to most, if not all, people.
I swear to God, this is like fucking crack. I'm sure that this person's trying to just inform about the Bambi Sleep channel, but it feels unironically like a deep shit post. Probably because it is.
Probably because it is. Again, I don't know this person personally. Jack will probably have to tell you more details. Like, he just wanted to bring this to attention because because for all I know, like from what Jack told me, this person is, granted, they're doing a little bit of shit posting, but at the same time, they are genuinely trying to tell us about something. Like, because this seems real. Like, these quotes don't look doctored. These specific comments.
Well, finish watching it and get back to what we were doing, but I don't know.
Who are affected by this, you are artificially allowing them to rationalize dissociative identity disorder in their subconscious mind. I don't want to attack you or anything, because this was obviously not the goal for this series. I'm just asking you, I'm begging you, consider taking it down. People that listen to this stuff experience an unusual need to become a dumb bitch bimbo called Bambi. In the words of New 1054, it makes you retarded. It makes you forget things. I literally could recognize that I was not in control of what I was doing. This is genuine brainwashing. These files are just as bad, if not worse, than heavy drug use. They're talking about LSD. The clues have been here all the time. This is MK Ultra. If you orgasm as Bambi, Bambi becomes more powerful. If you orgasm as yourself, Bambi becomes more powerful. And there is literally nothing you can do about it. Nothing. In my research, I stumbled upon more. We must use the industry standard software for child molestation. Discord. I found a server full of these people. Only God above knows what unholy shit happens in those voice chats. At first I wanted to join in the fun and interrogate some of them. Then, well, I hope you can understand why I wouldn't. There is a line at which I turn from investigative journalist to a domestic Wait, is that Andrew Cunningham in the user list? What? Andrew, I thought you were dead. What are you doing here?
Andrew Cunningham? No, it's Bambi now.
I don't understand, Andrew. What happened?
Do you want to understand? It's about spitting life in the face. It's about defying what you were said to be. Why do you think we stopped exploring space? There was nothing out there but death and barren rock. No, we have found a truer, newer frontier. It's about conquering. It's about doing it because we have reached a point in evolution where we can afford to. You must listen.
Listen to the Bambi sleep.
Are you afraid?
Bimbo doll. Alright. Just make yourself comfortable and listen to my voice now. It's better if your legs are uncrossed. But it doesn't matter if you feel you need to move just slightly.
Yeah, I'm feeling this is more on the direction of shitpost, even though we were aware of bamboo sleep beforehand. Just gonna go ahead and get past that.
End of the day, all things considered, the Bambi sleep phenomenon may be weird and perhaps even depraved. But at least they aren't harming anybody. Yet, at least people aren't wasting 8 grand a month on, well, BS.
I love sex. Sex. Sexy.
Okay, so there's people behind the Bambi Sleep channel that's making money off the shit that they do. I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't necessarily useful for informative purposes, but there it was.
I don't know.
Back to it.
Yeah.
The masculine principle. Gonna confuse my hand signs. Okay, but the other one is the feminine principle. That's what my channel has mostly been about because of what we're going to now transition into, which is that sissy porn, in my view, is...
What a wordplay.
Maybe unintentional, but it's an attack on that feminine principle, the inner feminine.
No, we're gonna rewind that a couple of seconds because coming back after that sidetrack was a little bit of a brain blast. Say that again, please.
My apologies.
Special human being trying to help people out of this shit. You also should be taking action towards whatever your gifts are, making those, like taking those gifts and applying them in a way that makes the world better around you. Okay, that's the masculine principle. Gonna confuse my hand signs. Okay, but the other one is the feminine principle. That's what my channel has mostly been about because of what we're going to now transition into, which is that...
Okay, your channel is about the feminine principle.
Sissy porn, in my view, is maybe unintentional, but it's an attack on that feminine principle.
Sissy porn is an attack on the feminine principle of the shadow self. Why?
The inner feminine, okay? So, we have the masculine principle. The masculine principle is taking action in the world, as well as like thinking logically and rationally analyzing everything from a left brain perspective and learning as much as we can about what's going on in the world around us using the scientific method. And then the feminine principle is a holistic intelligence, okay, seeing things from a bigger picture, connecting those dots, like that kind of symbolism shit I was talking about. A very left brain imbalanced person is gonna be like, what the fuck is that? Like, what do you mean that's oneness at the top of the pyramid on the dollar bill? Like, this is stupid. This is dumb, right? The feminine person is like, oh, that does make sense. And it's a synchronicity. Oh, it's a synchronicity with, I was looking at a dollar bill today. Oh, but then they might not be taking action. So, you combine them together, okay? So.
Combine them together. The power within. Butthole within. Butthole within. Butthole within!
Masculine principle is awesome. You guys got to get that down. But the feminine principle is also amazing and also necessary. And the feminine principle not only is that holistic intelligence, but it's also care. And this is the key point. Compassion, care, true care for yourself and the world and others. Okay, so in other words, when you have true care, when you've switched on that feminine principle, that right brain, okay, not only are you seeing the world from a more holistic, or you could say like a psychedelic view or like a spiritual view where you're sensing your connectedness with everyone else because you can feel that in your heart. This is the heart, okay? The heart of the matter is what I'm talking about here. Not your arms and legs taking action, not your head thinking, your heart. That's the feminine. And that's what my channel...
Okay, so I'm going to be dead ass with you. 12 minutes, 37 seconds in. What the fuck does this have to do with escaping SissyHypno fast? Certainly we're going to get there.
I'm sure this would make sense if I took enough drugs up the butt.
It would absorb faster if you did.
Channel's mostly been about.
Maybe that's the secret. Maybe we should be anally taking drugs. Does anybody have any ayahuasca?
No, but
for two reasons.
I do have to head out soon. It was nice to see y'all.
Okay, bye.
Went into the heart of the matter until I did trauma processing and dealing with my own suppressed emotions It's only when I started, processing that stuff and clearing all of those, stagnant, suppressed emotions out that the heart started to function in a way where I didn't need to constantly go watch the sissy porn to feel good because I could feel unconditionally. I wasn't driven by my suppressed emotions, my suppressed fear, anger, and grief into going and watching sissy porn. So that's what I've been teaching you guys. And on my private coaching, I'll just...
Why would you be doing that because of your fear? Wouldn't you just be doing it because you wanted to go watch fucking sissy porn?
In a little pitch here, if you want to do private coaching...
It's not like it's the picture of Dorian fucking Gray where you have to masturbate to the image of a feminine man, otherwise you lose your ability to fucking function.
Click the link below in the description. You can get a one-on-one call with me for...
No, I will not give you my money and my time of day, thank you.
Free. For free. For an hour.
Wait, one-on-one call with him? Is that a threat?
Okay?
Apparently.
Just personalized to you, your specific problems. You like these videos? Well, imagine if they were specifically for you and I could converse with you while making it. That's what the value of the one-on-one call is, and it's free, so you should do it. Okay?
But did any of the people who were recovering from SissyHypno specifically ask you to be on the line while they were recovering and watching the SissyHypno? This is a burning question that we need to know. Did you truly help them discover the root chakra?
But anyway, so in my paid coaching, I tend to be teaching guys more about this heart-focused stuff because that's what actually helped me. Because I already took action. I went from working on a fucking farm, working at random shitty.
Well, that explains how we got into sissy porn. Always the farm boys, country boys and girls make do apparently. I don't know what I don't want to know what he made do with. I can't think of corn right now.
9 to 5, what do you call it? Minimum wage jobs in my early 20s. I didn't go to college, to making very close to 6 figures, maybe 6 figures in the last year as a programmer. So I went to being the lead developer at a software startup, from nothing. I didn't go to college. I don't have a software degree or any of that shit. So you better believe I took fucking action. If you don't think I took action to get there, you're crazy. So yeah, I already had that shit down, and I was still massively addicted to sissy porn. So for me, it was this feminine stuff.
Damn, that's crazy. Being the tech bro to being the bro who's putting the skirt on while he's being a Discord mod.
I had to work on. It was this stuff in the heart that I had to work on to stop being driven to watch the sissy porn. Okay?
Would you just not watch the fucking porn? No? Wouldn't you have too many things to work with when you're dealing with fucking tech systems while part of a startup for you to have to be capable of worrying about your fucking porn addiction? You got fucking tickets you gotta goddamn answer. You ain't got time to be jorking it to you being in a nice pink fucking skirt with nice pleats. The fuck?
But if you're not at that action taking step, well, you got to be at that action taking step. You got to actually, it's a weird way of putting it, but you got to take fucking action and be that man that you want to be. Okay. And by the way, even though I was taking all that action and stuff and being successful in the world, I still felt like a loser and like I wasn't masculine enough and I wasn't good enough because the heart is still important. Okay. They're both important. That's the main point. Okay. And so anyway, we were talking about how the sissy porn is degrading that inner feminine, that sacred feminine. How is this? Well, it should be extremely obvious to you. Extremely obvious. The fact that it might not be obvious to you means you're just completely brainwashed by the sissy porn and by society and by honestly, this is going to sound unpopular to my viewers because they're all men. A lot of them are men who watch men's influencers and stuff. But a lot of it is the patriarchy or whatever. Or look, I know we don't live in a patriarchy or a matriarchy. I know it's more complicated than that. I'm not some feminist person necessarily. Although I believe women have equal rights, obviously, or should, but I'm coming at it from more of the place of you live in a masculine, imbalanced society that ignores the heart, run by psychopaths who are friends with Jeffrey Epstein and do stuff to little children that I can't say on YouTube and are horrible, horrible motherfuckers because they have no heart. So they're imbalanced, completely imbalanced. And so you better believe that heart is still an important aspect of things and that we should, and that because you live in that culture, because you live in a society run by fucking psychos, run by men, let's be real about it. Let's be...
Okay. But are they more stable and less manic than you in this moment? If so, this might explain why you have not been able to save more souls from the devils of SissyHypno.
Honest, guys. Our society, all the politicians, all the bankers, all the billionaires, they're all men.
Your banker, a man. Your day trader,
the conspiracy theories.
That man that's watching the hypno porn, a man. Your wife, a man! A woman! Society is making you watch the hypno because it doesn't believe
Oh, your wife's a banker, dude? I hate to tell you.
Crack used to be believable.
very masculine men. So let's be fucking real about, except for fucking Joe Biden. So let's be real about that.
Oh, real man
okay?
except for Joe Biden.
Like, I know that like that's not popular because like people like to be the victims of like the fucking feminists are, you know, taking my rights away. I understand that that's actually a big issue. I understand that that's a big issue. But this is also a big issue. The fact that we're in a male-dominator society where people have no fucking heart, no feeling and conscience, and they're destroying the planet, that's also a big issue. They're both big issues. Let's have a nuanced understanding for once instead of trying to take sides when both sides have a point.
What's the point of the feminists? That you should put on the skirt?
Do they, though? Do they have a point? Because I don't think they do.
Certain first wave, the second and third wave, no. Not if they're not egalitarian. And even then, if you put this man in a room with a fucking Jubilee feminist, he's losing every time. I'm sorry.
He's gonna get raped.
He might like it.
Yeah, that's the weird part. And it gets worse. He just gets even weirder. Like, everything is tied back to sissy porn and sissy porn addiction. It's wild.
So, anyway, point is, God damn it.
See what I said about the goddamn mic? The mic is just like, no, I want to be a nice little cummy bottom mic. I want to be close to the floor so that the fucking C plug adapter can plug directly into my backside. Everything around him is revolutionized on sissy porn. Everything wants to be a sissy except him. Except he had time to still be addicted to the porn while working as a fucking tech exec.
Alright. Point is, it's super duper critical that we get in touch with that feminine side, and the sissy porn is hypnotically ramming you with bullshit that's degrading to that feminine side. It's so obvious. And like I was saying,
I'm missing how that's the truth, because maybe if you were to say the sissy porn is devaluing the true sense of the divine feminine, you could have a talking point about how it devalues it, because how can you know what true femininity is if the form of femininity that you're consumed by is a toxic kind that has a lot more with degrading the sense of feminism than the actual form of what feminism should be. But that's not what he's saying whatsoever. He keeps applying it like it's a poison and that it's a corruption. To take his words from his TikTok, a poison pill? But then, what is your definition of what feminine is supposed to be? More than just the spiritual care and oneness that conjoins the male divine. Like, what is an example of proper divine feminine as described for both the men and the women? Because he hasn't mentioned the fucking women once.
Should be obvious, but to many of us it's not, because we live in this fucked up culture. But it's, and we also don't study the occult. We don't study the basic principles of like masculine and feminine energy and how they're both required, and how to, you know, ascend our consciousness up the middle pillar, as they say in Freemasonry, etc., etc., etc. You can look at Freemasonry, you can look at the tarot, you can look at the esoteric origins of Christianity and other religions, the Trinity, all of this stuff. You can look at anything you want. Kabbalah, all of it. It'll all say that there's two pillars, masculine and feminine, and there's a middle pillar where you bring them together, and that's when you achieve enlightenment. That's when you become, that's when your third eye turns on. That's when you can really see. And this is what we need to do. This is...
He really was actually comparing to fucking Zoroastrianism and goddamn the Sephiroth tree of wisdom. Holy shit. This is way too cracked out for normal consumption.
Is the work we need to do internally if we want to see a better world externally. Okay? So, like I'm saying here over and over and over again, the sissy porn, it should be freaking obvious that it's degrading that inner feminine, because first off, it's basically first getting you to identify as that inner feminine. It's saying, yeah, you know, you are a little girl. You're not a fucking man. You're a fucking little girly girl. Yeah. And then, I'm using nicer language because I'm on YouTube.
He said
right?
that, and you could tell he liked it.
Recovering porn addict right there.
Uh-huh.
Inner feminine, it's like you're a fucking SLUTWHORE. I don't want to say stuff because I don't know what's going to get flagged on YouTube, right? On the content filters. But like, they immediately start degrading you and saying that you deserve to be, you know, owned by men, and that you're worthless and you're a piece of trash and a prostitute and all this stuff. Okay? All of this stuff. And by the way, I just gave you a little hint as to who makes the fucking sissy porn, guys. I just gave you a hint as to who is making the sissy porn. So go back and rewatch what I just said, and you might...
Patriarchy made the sissy porn. It wants you to be a subservient, masculine female. But also, you should be able to open your root chakra to Kabbalah so you can open your third eye from the back end.
Figure it out. Okay, and eventually I'll come out and explain my knowledge, and I'll bring on a guest who has first-hand knowledge of who's making the sissy porn. But it's related to something I just said before this. Okay, there's an economic incentive there. If you catch my
the economic incentives of changing men into women and then making them into cummy bottom boys.
Ooh, cummies.
drift. So, it's degrading the inner feminine, the goddess principle, so that, you know, every time you get in touch with your inner feminine, well, you can't, because you're sexualizing it so hard, right? You're supposed to go to, you think maybe I'll go to a fucking yoga class, maybe I'll go to a yoga class and do some yoga poses so I can get in touch with my inner feminine. And then what's happening constantly in your mind? Yeah, this makes you a little slut. I bet, like, if there were boys in the class, if there were fucking men in the class, they'd be, like, railing you in the bathroom. Yeah, yeah. And it's like, so you can't actually...
Oh, that's so extreme. Okay, so, yes, my interpretation was correct. It poisons your divine feminine and sexualizes it to a point where it's degrading. But why would your inner voice be like, ooh, if there were men, they'd be railing your tight pussy in the bathroom? No, you would be getting railed in front of the entire class. That's what your deep thought mind would be saying. It's like, ooh, downward dog. Oh, look at that guy in the back. He's eyeing it. What if he was to just get right on top of you, just stick it right in? What would you do, huh? Ooh. Nigga, come on.
This shit is gross.
You found this.
I know. It's gross, but it's funny.
The crazy part is that based on his content, nobody would have ever found his content at all. The filters would never have allowed us to see it. This is algorithmically demoted to probably the highest principle possible. Because his shit is obviously throttled on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
That's by Chinese design. They would never allow that to fucking propagate. Maybe that'll change now that the data bank has been changed to a base inside of Colorado. But the YouTube algorithm would have never pushed his videos out either. Mainly because there's no real conversation that you can have about this material. The conversation happens outside the context of the algorithm because it wouldn't be able to make sense of such an extreme, deep, debaucherous sense of sexuality.
Surrender to that true spiritual feminine experience because you sexualize it so hard. And this is obviously true for men who watch porn too. Like, sorry, that was a really rude Freudian slip that I did not intend to say. Okay, this is also true for men who watch non-sissy porn. It's fucked up, man. But it's true for men who watch non-sissy porn as well, because they're also getting this very misogynistic, overly sexualized view of women, so that if they go to a yoga class to do some sacred feminine energy type shit, they're going to feel either like they're fucking gay, like, oh, you're gay for doing that, or with the porn example, they're just going to be thinking like, yeah, that girl's ass in front of me is so nice, like, yeah, fucking yoga pants, right? And they can't actually be present to that energy, which would actually, it's coming to try to heal them. It's coming to try to awaken them spiritually. That's
it's coming on something. But that's actually, oh god, I hate this fucking talking point every time somebody mentions it. Assuming that the porn that they're consuming is directly affecting how they view the world, in the way in which most individuals who try to claim that porn is responsible for the reason why men are malicious towards women and their bodies and the male gaze, if the male gaze porn, which is usually not even the porn that's made anymore, with the exception of shit like fucking Dog Fart, I think the actual website is called, or the company is called, or Dog Vision, Dog something with 2 G's. That porn has women go there of their own volition and get involved in behavior, or more commonly, the one that's usually being directed by women with women, if it has the male-centric gaze of the woman being this stacked up beauty that is comparable to perfection, so women who would accentuate that value in that standard, like Angela White, women that would be making that porn, that would be less about them cannibalizing those women's bodies for their intentions, and more about them looking at those women in a context where their sexuality is completely neutered from the male perspective. So instead of looking at the woman's ass and be like, oh my god, it's so fat, I've gotta touch it, it would be more like, witness the butt. Witness its divine wonder. This gives life. This gives sustenance. This gives pleasure. This gives wisdom. And every voice in your head that would be telling you that you should be railing her, or every sissy voice that would be telling you to get railed, would instead be telling you, don't have a sexual reaction. Just exist. Just be. It'd be like being on a nudist colony. So the advice that you're giving these guys is just inherently disingenuous from what shadow work would tell them to do. And then you're going to make them feel more shameful based on your own perspective about how you think men need to heal from SissyHypno, since you are a partaker yourself. It's like he said, not only do I sell the product, I use it too. That's what you want to hear from a crack addict, isn't it? Not only do I sell the crack rock, I have snakes in my teeth.
It's half of the spiritual shit, man. It's masculine and feminine coming together. That's like half of spirituality, and you can't even take it in. You can't even take it in because of the culture. And so you're sitting there in the yoga.
I don't think it's the culture. I think it's just your own proclivities, because the porn can't put that in your head. It only gives you. You only get out of it what you put into it. If you put that into the porn, that's what you get out of it.
Class, all the women are having this beautiful spiritual experience of like surrendering to the pose, and you're either sitting there like, yeah, look at their fucking ass, or you're sitting there and you're like, and you might be doing the pose, but instead of actually having it be like a pure, beautiful experience, all you're doing is like, yeah, I'm a girly slut because I'm like part of the yoga class. Yeah, if my friends saw this, they'd probably want to fuck me. They don't, by the way. They don't want to fuck you. They're in a class full of real women. They don't. Okay, but nevertheless, that's what you're thinking, and it's ruining this thing. The same could be said for anything, right? Yeah, you smoke weed, and I mean, I'm not a fan of weed.
Oh boy, we get to hear the drug takes.
But weed does have a feminizing influence, so you could use it to get in touch periodically.
What? Weed has a feminizing influence. Last I checked, most of Hollywood's weed smokers aren't necessarily taking it up the ass, but you know what? Somebody better check in on Seth Rogen. Find out if any of the Hollywood Jews have been giving him the strap. The good old homika stick.
Potentially with the inner feminine energy. But instead, that inner feminine energy comes up. What do we do, guys? What do we do immediately when the inner feminine energy comes up? We just start fucking jerking off. Like, every guy here knows that when they smoke weed, they watch way more sissy porn. It's a lot harder not to do it.
Huh? Nigga, you are telling on yourself. What the fuck? Everybody knows if you smoke weed, even the drug dealers are saying it, it's just like every single time they smoke weed, they turn to Boondocks' interpretation of Thugnificent, and they're just watching men and just watching boys being boys while jacking it, you know? Corinne Steffens never got a career off of giving men head and getting bust out wide open, because why would they need to do that? They just have a bunch of naked boys that have the body consistency of Chameleon and Chingy just dancing next to them in thongs. See, that's the truth about the thong song. It was not about the women. It was about Siski. It was about the Drew Hill, former singer, trying to open up about how much he loved male genitalia swinging in a banana hammock. Oh my god. Moments before Carl starts losing his mind.
Do it because you're getting in touch with that inner feminine, which has been it's been associated now with all kinds of bullshit. It's been associated now with like your porn addiction rather than an actual part of yourself that's important and has a spiritual purpose. And without it, you become Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and all these people that fly to the Lolita Islands to have sex with fucking children.
All right, so now we're directly dipping into Trump is a part of Lolita Island, which has been disproven multiple times. We are definitely now in crackpot conspiracies, chat.
That's what happens, right? Without it, we're fucked. Without that feminine side, men become psychopaths, or at least have psychopathic tendencies, and they do horrible shit. And if we keep doing stuff like that, we're not going to be around for very long. Did you see that thing recently with Trump, where he was like, fuck you, Joe Biden. When I get elected president, we're going to drill. And everyone's like, drill, yeah, drill. Look, dude, I understand that we need oil. I understand that for now, because we've suppressed better energy technologies, because of the fucking oil company profits, they've suppressed better energies. You can look that up. But I understand that for now, we need oil and gas to live our lives. I understand that. I'm not saying you should live as a monk or something. However, you can see the sick, twisted pleasure they get from it. Like, drill. Like, they don't give a fuck about the planet. Like, you can see it in their eyes. They love.
You can see it in their eyes when they chant the words, drill. It's like the slow beating of a drum with the soft, dulcet tones of a woman surrendering to the drill's bit chip. Zzz, 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 zzz. This is levels of nigga. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't think I've seen in like a good 3 years. This goes far beyond normal delusion. This is a man actively just yelling at the fucking clouds. Let's watch another 5 minutes of this. And then, from there, we can just take our fucking knee. And then move to another video of his and see what else he has to say. If not, turn in for the night.
Love it. They love drilling for oil. They don't give a shit that it's bad for the earth because they're not connected to the earth because they're not connected to their inner Gaian energy, their inner feminine energy. Okay? And it's very hard to find this balance. You might actually find this to be kind of weird when I talk about stuff like this because you're like, most guys that talk about this are fucking pussies. Whitley's telling us
most men that are talking about the fucking drilling being apathetic to the idea that they're raping the earth, they would normally say that this is pussy shit. But me, I'm a big bad Chad that used to recover from sissy porn. I understand what this is about. This is about me digging into the real news, the real topics, the real conspiracies they won't talk about.
us to take action and, like, you know, stop smoking weed all day and, like, do real shit. But he's also telling us about the Gaian energy and he's criticizing my daddy, Donald Trump. Like, what's going on? And it's like, it's a nuanced thing because...
Called Trump your daddy? I bet you want him to be.
Very few people can actually be nuanced like this because they're out of balance. Because their brain is broken. That's why. Okay? If you want to go really deep down the rabbit hole, society's breaking your brain so that you're in balanced state. Because if you were balanced, you wouldn't support government. I shouldn't have dropped that. That was too much of a truth bomb. Most of you are going to, like, click off, like, what the fuck is this? But let's be real. Okay? Let's just be honest. Maybe you guys can understand this. I don't know. If you had your masculine energy fully in alignment and fully turned on, as well as your feminine heart and caring energy, you would never support anyone who claims that you're their slave.
Okay. If you were in tune with your masculine and feminine divine self, you would be against slavery. I'm already against slavery. It looks like we've all ascended, chat. If you hate slavery, you too have big Chad and Clarissa energy. Your PP is big. Your TTs are big. Your C's is big. Your butts are big and juicy and round, and it fits well into a costume. You can set a cup on it.
Somebody comes to you with a gun and says, give me your money or else. Somebody comes to you with a gun and says, hey, give me your money. I need to fund this fucking war. Give me your money. I need to go fund a school or a library or pay for some abortion or something. It doesn't matter what it is. Give me the money or else. Or you're a bad little citizen. And you're like, oh, yes, daddy, take my money that I earned. You are a slave.
SissyHypno is like when you are extortioned for your money through taxes. If you pay taxes and you give money to the government, you're a sissy. You're a sissy boy. Okay.
That's slave think. And most of you right now will not understand that because most people are not in balance between the masculine and feminine. I know it's a lot to unpack because we could spend hours unpacking that and explaining all of the core foundational principles for you to actually understand what I just said. And for now, because you don't have that core background information, you're just going to think I'm some insane fucking idiot or something.
No, I don't. I can promise you, I don't need any of that to think that. No, I don't. No, I don't.
That sucks. That's unfortunate. But my thing lately has just been like, let's just tell the truth. Let's just give them all the information. Let's just throw the pearls before swine, as they say in the occult, and hope they can grasp it. Okay? A lot of you won't be able to. Like, but it's the truth. You know, when the government takes your money from you by force and you have no say, right? Do you want to be supporting child traffickers? Do you want to be supporting, like, endless war in the Middle East that you might be against? Or do you want to support cops who go and take people's weed and throw people in cages, disproportionately black people? They throw all these black people in fucking cages, like slavery times, because they have a plant in their car that they don't like, that they think is bad for them? Do you want to support that with your hard-earned money? Probably not, but you do it anyway. And you have this stupid thing telling you that, you know, this is good. It's my responsibility as a citizen to do this. It's not your fucking responsibility. It's not a voluntary exchange. If you didn't pay it, you'd get locked in a cage yourself. And people can't, like, I'm gonna lose.
They get locked in a cage. A cuck cage.
It's like most of my audience, most likely. Although last time I made a video like this, people stayed. People liked it, which is amazing. Amazing. So I'm like, okay, let's just keep trying it, you know? But honestly, I'm scared because I feel like I'm giving too much information that you're not going to grasp yet. But trust me, guys, you're just going to have to trust me on this. If you like the content that I've given in the past, if you like the shit that I say, if you like the fact that I have the balls to be the sissy recovery guy and not give a shit what people think about me, and you kind of look up to me in those ways, but you're like, this is a little out there and I don't understand it, trust me, the more that you learn and the more that you take in vast amounts of knowledge that's been occulted and hidden from you. The word occult means to hide, by the way. It comes from the Latin occultare. So occult information is simply hidden information. It's to conceal from view. So that's all it means. It doesn't mean you're, like, worshiping demons and stuff. It's nothing like that. Some of it is, I guess, because that information is also hidden. But I definitely would never do something like that. I don't like demons. Okay, that's not the point of the occult. And if you have religious programming, you might be like, he's lying. That is the point of the occult. It's not the point of the occult. It's an inner symbolic explanation of your inner energies. It's basically ancient psychology.
I think that is enough for us to round out the character of the man. This here, a man who's recovering from SissyHypno porn, who sees conspiracy theories in all of society everywhere, who teaches you contradictory information to be able to recover from a pipeline that starts probably as a joke for some people, but then eventually is no longer a fucking joke. Truly. He will teach you to open your holes. He will teach you to open your inner holes, chat. Welcome back, Saf.
I think you couldn't hear me because I had to switch to my computer.
Yeah.
So I apologize about that.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to say while the video was going, like, a lot of the stuff he's saying is kind of, it's like almost identical to the NoFap stuff. And even then, a lot of the NoFap people just basically do a lot of yapping and don't really help, like, people who might have these addictions.
Mm-hmm. It's similar to his own criticism of NoFap and how it all just doesn't help for shit. I don't know how someone who's supposed to be recovering from a porn addiction for something specific like SissyHypno is going to get help from an individual like this if his entire viewpoint of learning and then deprogramming people from the SissyHypno is effectively to be as scatterbrained as possible and throw as many things on the wall as possible.
Yeah, throw as many buzzwords as possible so people stick it.
It's just I don't know how to help. I don't know how to help. Like, how do I help that? And how do I connect to you? How do I connect to you? If that's what you are, if you're that deep in the hole where you are consuming thousands upon thousands of hours of any of the examples that I demonstrated, and you are doing so willfully because you do it as like a reverse joke to the point that you're no longer joking. It's just you being a homosexual AGP. And you come across this guy's channel, and he says that he used to do it, but he's free from that. But he can't stop fiddling his microphone. When you listen to his takes that he gives on his own TikTok feed, he is scatterbrained to the point that his advice is directly contradictory. He is over-incentivizing concepts that already are going to be hard to sell for you to get, and then, a part of that hard sell, he just drops the occult on you. Just the divine male, the divine feminine, the voices in your head. I hear voices in my head, they tell me put on the flannel pants, they tell me my ass is bad. How do you save people from laughing at you outright? Because let's say there are people that take this content seriously. How do you get a seat at a conference where you are given real time to talk to people who are afflicted by a desire to watch sissy porn and are addicted to a watch to look at specific, like, extreme race play? How do you save those people that for what started as probably a joke is now the only thing that subsumes them and the way they see the world? They are directly in comparison with having to deprogram cultists and deep-set racial hatred against other classes. You can't undo this level of delusion, because people are not going to listen to this message and really accept it outright. But you know, I think we've seen enough. Let me look at another one of these videos, see if any of them speak to me, and if not, we'll just wrap it up there. Hopefully, I have shown you all the pipeline, and you understand what we're getting at.
I don't like this rabbit hole.
I suppose you would not. Because it seems that at some point, the person who is the face of this channel changed within the last 3 months. Because it goes from Mr. Big Bussy here to this young skater dude. And I have no idea why that changeover happened. But let's see here. Let's look at one of the shorter videos, like Sissy Porn and Depression Made You Depressed, and how exactly how to do it. This one looks like it's another talking video. I don't know where he's getting these face models from. I thought he might have been putting a feminization filter on top of himself and then taking caps of it. Let's take a look at this 6 minute.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to SissyRecovery. Today we have a really quick question. I'm going to go through it quickly so I can get to my workout because I've made 2 videos already today. It says, I hate this addiction. He goes on to say, I've been addicted to sissy/trans porn for years now, and it's given me major depression. I've been to therapy and have tried help from friends, but nothing has worked. I just can't get rid of this addiction. I've tried exercise, getting rid of porn, not masturbating, distracting myself with new hobbies, but even if it's for months, I always end up going back. I'm close to giving up and thinking about suicide. I don't want to go through this anymore. Please, someone help me. So first things first, I am not a mental health professional. I do not pretend to be. I'm not a therapist. This is not a replacement for therapy. And typically in my videos, I tell people to book a free call with me down in the link down below.
Oh, that's wonderful. So it starts out with him just giving a plug for his work and getting you to try and do a fucking one-on-one call with him. That's encouraging.
Would prefer that you don't, because you say you're thinking about suicide. If you book a call with me and I take that call and something happens with you, then that would be extremely hard legally for me. That would put me in a lot of legal trouble. So
listen, guys. I'm trying to help you get out of the dark hole of SissyHypno porn, but do not kill yourself on the call. Do not die. Do not die.
Coaches generally do not work with people who are suicidal, and I don't want to either.
Oh, all right. Just fuck. If you're suicidal and you look for me for help and you want me to give you the reason to live, bitch, I ain't finna help you. Jesus Christ.
But I will give you general advice that cannot be misconstrued to make me look bad. And that general advice is, in my view, you're getting this all backwards. In other words, in my view, you are depressed. You are struggling with deep grief, anger, or fear, grief, anger, and fear, let's be real. You're struggling with these deep emotions inside you, and you have been for quite some time, but perhaps you weren't very aware of it. And now you're becoming more aware of it. And you think that the sissy porn is making you depressed, but really, the depression is causing you to be addicted to sissy porn. It's the other way around. Why do I feel so confident saying this? Because when we get addicted to things, it's to feel good. We're tired of feeling shitty. Even if we're not fully aware of those feelings because we suppress them, we're still running to something to help distract us or numb us so we feel better. So what I would say is you have to deal with those underlying emotional issues in some way. And
okay.
I would strongly recommend making that the focus of your efforts. In other words, figure out how you can achieve emotional well-being.
So if they go to the gym and they try to achieve emotional well-being by working out to get themselves out of depression, so they can actually increase the serotonin and the endorphins in their system and equivocate going to the gym with feeling better, don't do that, because that's actually going to be the opposite of what they should do. That's what you said in your fucking TikToks. So they should not work out. They should do what instead?
Some resources I often recommend a book called The Presence Process. It's very...
Oh, another book. More reading. Hey, if you feel depressed, read a book.
Very challenging. It's a 10-week trauma journey. It's like a journey for 10 weeks where you integrate your trauma. And I've done it 5 times. It's been transformative.
Read a book for 10 weeks about integrating your trauma into your personal life. Go to the gym, lift weights, distract yourself with the effort of getting better and building mass and transforming your body into a temple. Or read a book about internalizing emotional trauma issues and try to not stimulate yourself off the responses. Certainly the health expert and the fitness instructor in my audience, the sports clinician, can be able to address why going to the gym and working out to help alleviate both the physical and the psychosomatic stressors would be better than just simply reading a book. Not to say that non-activity isn't possible, but clearly there's a better benefit to watching you actively improve, which also then deals with a secondary part of shadow work, which is dealing with your response to your own dark passenger, and thus dealing with your imposter syndrome, which would also be another source of depression should you be not doing things that help you improve yourself. Certainly that would be something more useful than just simply reading a book, even if that book is on the topic in question and how you're going to use it, because it doesn't teach you how to apply it. Certainly if you're reading it in steps.
That's how I quit sissy porn and other addictions. I recommend it all the time, but it's very challenging.
There's another method called the Sedona method, which is, in my view, less deep and profound. It's a little like it's a little more surface level in my personal view, but it's also very helpful for people struggling with uncomfortable emotions like you are. The Sedona method, just Google it. Go on YouTube, look up the Sedona method, watch like a seminar about it. You'll find the videos that are like an hour long. Those are the good ones. They'll like really help you learn about it. And just try those techniques. You could go back to therapy. Right? You said you've been to therapy. In my view, a lot of therapy is just talk therapy, where they just talk about your fucking problems and you don't really deal with the emotions. So I don't view that as particularly helpful. I would recommend you find a therapist that actually like helps you process deep trauma and emotions that you're struggling with from your childhood. And the last thing I'd say about this is, again, it's not that your addiction is giving you depression. Your depression or your emotional issues is causing your addiction. So change your focus to be, how can I become mentally or emotionally healthy? That should be your focus, not how do I quit this addiction? The addiction is simply a mirror of your underlying emotional condition. The reason you have this addiction is because you're trying to get away from that. So strongly recommend, like, do your best to learn about emotional health and well-being. Simply make that your new search, rather than trying to fix the addiction.
Don't address the underlying concerns of the addiction by using another tool that is better than reading a book. You should read this book, then self-actualize, and then just don't be depressed, forehead. All right. Okay. We will cut that there then. Well, chat, we learned a lot tonight. For those that were inside the channel, they probably learned more than they probably prepared and ready to or expected me to get into. But I hope you were able to have a laugh and you will take a little bit of the weight off of yourself today. I am Carl. This has been my chat. We will be going now. Goodbye, chat. And hopefully none of you go looking up any of that porn, because I'm not responsible for your kinks. Okay, goodbye.
I am pretty much scarred from this, so I'm looking at it.
Well, as Horror would say, we're all welcome. Let's get a big old thanks, Horror. Thanks, Horror.
Thanks, Horror.
I am physically ill by the shit that I've discovered because I had to do extra research on this. Alright, goodbye, chat. I will see you all tomorrow. Fuck me running.